Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cryptic Heartland Podcast, episode number 136. I am one of the hosts. I'm Leo Fernandez. Across the way, we got Mr. Jason Roberts. We got the person in the middle. She's kind of messed up looking. I mean, not literally. I noticed on the camera, she's like, there's like double of you. Like you have something growing out of your head. That's Andy. If you look on the TV.
Hello.
I don't know if you can see it or not. Sorry. That sounded bad. I'm so sorry. That sounded rude to me.
Wow.
Leave it to me.
Sorry. See right there, look on the screen. You have like a thing running out of your head. I'll fix it, don't worry. And then, sorry. And the person on the right is Mr. Dan the Man.
How you guys doing?
Sorry, that sounded so
What's
bad.
up?
All right. What a way to start a show, right? Haven't seen Andy in a couple weeks, and I just bashed her live on there. That's
Right.
Throw rocks at her. That's what
a
we
dick
do.
move.
Beat her.
Anywho,
Be with him.
my
That's
bad.
right.
Wow. Okay.
My bad, people. So what's up, guys? Where you guys been? How you guys been?
Good.
Been busy trying to get everything ready for upcoming events. That's for sure.
What's going on? What upcoming
Pretty
event?
What?
exciting
We got
stuff
upcoming
coming
events coming
up.
up?
Not much. Not much.
Oh, all right.
No. Joining forces with Ghost Tours of Kansas for the Hotel Josephine this weekend. It is sold out, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I know the three of us are going to be there. You know, someone else in the room, decides not to ever join us for anything.
Well, what?
But no, Chris will be joining us too out there.
Nice.
So we're going to be having a lot of fun joining Kathy out there. I know this is her first big public investigation there. I know she's investigated it before herself, just kind of testing it out and stuff. And then she just, I think, last night had her first Psychic Fun and Feast there.
Oh, cool.
So apparently they caught a very spectacular photograph,
Nice.
but also had some pretty good activity with the equipment and stuff.
That's what I heard.
So looking
Sounds
forward
fun.
to it. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Being everywhere in the hotel. I have never been there, so it's going to be all new to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love the fact that we get to do that. So.
Yeah.
And then following that, haven't picked a date yet, but we are all going to be going to the Wolf Hotel. I know it's been done by other groups and stuff, but you
Yeah.
know what? So what? We're going.
We'll get some good
And
evidence.
had a great conversation with the owner and the woman Lana behind the events coordination.
Oh, cool.
Coordinating on that. So.
Gotcha.
Looking forward to it. She's looking forward to having us and everything. So
That is going to be
It'd
cool.
be pretty cool. I've
Yeah.
always liked
And-
that place when I've driven by.
The awesome thing about it is, other people have investigated that place.
Yeah.
We have some of the best evidence ever produced from that
Yeah.
place.
Right.
So,
I told her about that. I did mention that, and I told her exactly, that Jake was
Yeah.
the one who did it, because hands down, it's all him.
Yep.
He went there as a paying guest several years ago. 3-4 years ago?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez. Man, that's time flies. But 4 years ago, he went there as a paying guest at the Wolf Hotel and caught a phenomenal photograph that the hotel itself, Lana was like, oh, you've got to let us see that. So I can't wait to actually show that to her. And I want Jake to be there with me when I show it to him so he can, see their
Talk it
reaction
out.
to it and everything
Yeah.
like that. Because at the time, he tried to show the group that was there
Mm-hmm.
the evidence in this photograph, and they kind of blew him off. So
Rude.
I hate when groups do that. I hated it when past members did that to us. I know it's happened to me, so I hate that. When you capture something, you want it to be looked at and gone over, and especially if it's an amazing piece of evidence like this, it's great. So he needs all the credit for that. So.
Nice.
So I'm just happy that they're willing to do it, and we're going to be in there. So just gotta keep our calendar kind of open a little bit, because I would love for all of us to make it there if we can.
Yeah.
I'll try,
I think
baby.
it'd be cool.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to miss the opportunity. I've been wanting to go there for a while.
Yeah.
And they do have 2 sister properties in town, so hopefully talk to
Yeah.
Lana about that.
Okay.
They do have the original mayor's home that is part of the Wolf family.
Oh, very cool.
And it was one of the older buildings, if not the oldest building in town, and it's a bed and breakfast right now as well. So
this is the first one. This is the Hotel with Josephine that's going on this upcoming weekend, April 17th.
yes,
Like Jason said, the event is sold out, but there's talk of us going back there again.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
future for other events.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you miss this opportunity, don't worry, don't fret.
I think
Keep coming
Kathy's
back.
even trying to go for like a April date or something, but we'll talk about it this weekend or something.
April date, like
we're
this
already
month?
doing April.
I mean, next month.
I was like,
May?
we're already in
May.
April. So that's in Holton, Kansas, and then the other one we're talking about doing is the Joseph. Nope, that's the Josephine right now. Looks almost similar. That's what's crazy.
They do look a lot.
This one is the Wolf Hotel. That one's located in just east of Great Bend in Ellingwood, Kansas.
Ellenwood, yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too.
never been there. I've been past it. I know the history
Yeah.
behind it a little bit better than the Josephine. This one has the underground tunnels, which I don't know if that's part of the deal or not.
It is.
I'm sure.
Okay. So yeah, underneath there's some underground tunnels that have some relics in there. There's also some just different things in there. That's my phone going off. You guys.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Sorry.
good, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going out there in a couple weeks to
Right.
actually meet and greet and everything like that, and just actually try to talk about all the things that we can do.
Yeah.
Because, like Kathy says, I love working with her because it opens up the possibility for all kinds of different projects and
Yeah.
and events that we can actually do there.
Definitely.
So I love it.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've done something with Kathy. It's been
Usually it's just Topeka that we do.
is that the last one?
Yeah.
Like Serendipity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it
been a hot minute.
usually and you guys were with me on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Friday
Dan
the
remembers that one
13th.
really well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good time.
I never have anything happen to me.
No,
out there.
but he had
I know.
the club. What would you have to go do? You had to go next door.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That was fun too, though.
That's what I was.
I learned a lot of stuff from that
Yeah, I
place.
think Dan
You
had
knew it
more
already.
happen than what Jason and I did in some spots.
What's that?
I think Dan had more happen.
Yeah.
Well,
And what
again,
you
I had
did.
the full. I would claim a full apparition upstairs,
Yeah.
above the burrito.
Right.
About the burrito.
Nito burrito.
Burrito, Needle
Burrito.
There's
burrito.
a restaurant down there. I can't remember the name of the burrito place, but
Nito burrito.
Needle
I
burrito.
never remember. I haven't been to that one time, so
And then,
Yeah.
of course,
You haven't been out with us in a long time.
yeah.
you
Right.
guys stayed at the tattoo parlor, and you guys sent me to
Yeah.
the bar.
Well,
which-
Kathy wanted me to stick around to investigate the tattoo parlor with her because it had never been done before.
Oh yeah.
So we were just kind of checking things out. Not much really happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty quiet.
I'm glad I got to go where I went.
Compared to the claims that they have
Yeah, of
and
course.
everything. It was nothing really.
Well, the
happened.
thing is, though, we're not there 24/7 like they
No.
are too. So who knows
Right.
what goes on? When we're
The,
not
the,
there.
the brief moment we were there, nothing spectacular happened. But it was a cool
Understand.
place to see and all that. Yeah, I mean, the tattoo parlor itself is set up pretty nice.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah,
it.
it is nice.
But,
Cool, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the next time we go out there, hopefully they allow us to come back in and do that. But the more Kathy likes having us as her team, so the more we are willing to go everywhere she sets up and all that, then that's perfect.
Game.
Of course, I've been kind of pushing her to call places and get it set up too. So I'm like, hey, Kathy, call this place, because I know she'll do it and she'll stick it in and she'll sink her teeth into it and just.
I know.
golden. I love it.
I know another place she needs to call.
Well, tell me after the show,
Yes.
and I'll send her that way for it.
We'll do a back to back with the Wolf.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
That'd be cool. I think that'd be a lot of fun doing. I kind of had my doubts about wanting to do public events, just because of the fact I've been kind of burnt out on it over the years.
Well, right now it's difficult a little bit with the
Well,
world in such a weird, fun,
That
strange state. I mean, I know people want to get out and do things, but there's still stuff going on. So you got to
Right.
use common sense.
for me, it's just the fact, taking a year off from doing it and everything.
Yeah.
I realized that how much energy it takes out of me, and I know you guys too, but I'm like, me, I'm like always worried the entire night and
Yeah.
stressing about making sure it all goes right and everything like that. So by the end of the evening, I'm just dead tired and grumpy. So, but no, But I know that a lot of people love the events and everything like that, and I know the locations that we have want to continue doing them. So, hey Carl, if you're out there watching,
He is. He said, "Hey y'all,
Carl.
then
that was a good
we
time."
need to get ourselves back in there in the depot and get something set up for
Yeah.
that too. So,
Hopefully in due time. Yep.
yeah, I'll get a hold of you, Carl, and we'll work something out sometime
Definitely.
soon.
Yeah.
But
Yep. So it should be hopefully a busy year for us, whether it be
a little busier than last year, that's for sure.
well, whether it be public or whether it be just private, because we got stuff going on behind the scenes too with cases we're working on still, and also just some other things we're trying to work through.
Yeah,
So
more things that we got planned and working on.
definitely.
I know in June I got to check with Nest City and still see if they want us to do the Old Settlers.
Oh, is that when they're having it this year?
Yeah,
I didn't
it was
remember.
June.
Yeah.
So that's coming up soon, actually.
Got it.
And that was going to be back-to-back nights
Yeah.
doing that. So something we've never done.
Yeah. Not there. Yeah. We did the depot that one time.
Yeah, we've
4
done it
nights
at the
in a row.
depot
3 nights, wasn't
Oh,
it?
3 nights.
three
Yeah.
nights in
It
a
was
row
Thursday
there
through
at the
Saturday
depot,
night.
which was fun.
That was a blast. That turned out great.
Yeah. I was dead tired.
I was
tired.
too. I was too.
Good investigation, though.
But that was during Dodge City days, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah, no. So, yeah, make sure you stay tuned. We'll announce things along the way during the show or during our shows and whatnot. And also, too, we'll the grumpy ghost. Sorry, I'm reading some of the comments. We'll also, post some things on all our Facebook pages as well. Just kind of switching gears. I saw a post that I found intriguing.
Sorry.
I was like, what the hell was that? I didn't see you move and make that noise. I was like, I just heard it.
just Dan over here making his noises again.
Yeah, at least it's
My
coming out of his
bad.
mouth, not the other. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I saw a post come through this week, and it got me thinking. This guy named Richard Hawkins, he posted all the paranormal sites and stuff that a lot of us follow. And his thing is, it's on a YouTube video. I won't play the video, obviously, but it says why you need to stop using the SLS Connect camera for ghost hunting. And there's a bunch of different reasons. So, and now it got me thinking, maybe we're just all looking at this wrong. I mean, I know we've had some good video from one of our 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Did again. 50th episode for this show alone. We did a live ghost hunt, and we were able to capture map something in full view of the viewers at home, where we had the lights turned off, obviously just a red light going, and Dan, I think was it Jake or Dan, was running the SLS, and we had one of our friends who was a guest on the show that night, Mr. Dave Green, who is also a seasoned paranormal investigator. He was out there in the middle of this room, and it was just him alone, and you guys were behind, obviously the camera and the scenes and whatnot. Well, it mapped him, obviously, which it should. But then it started mapping something on the ground, like trying to reach for him, and kind of like, it looked wounded, this thing. We're talking about this possible entity. And I wanted to make sure the viewers at home knew it wasn't just a staged event. It wasn't mapping something that it shouldn't be. So we radioed to you guys, because you guys were in a different part of the building. We said, hey, just to show the viewers at home, make sure nothing's there. So somebody turned the light on, and boom, nothing was there. So that was one of the times I felt well enough to think this is possibly paranormal. I mean, I know that people can. It does map false things. I mean, let's be honest. We've
It
seen
does.
it.
It does. Like
But
in
not always.
cemeteries, it tries to map out
Yeah.
the headstones,
Right.
trees.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've seen it map some stuff. I mean, in the same location for our 100th, not anniversary, our 100th episode celebration we did there at the same location. It mapped out that thing in the corner. It looked like a little goat. Remember that?
Right, the
Yeah.
goat. Well, and again, it mapped out, but it also had a heat signature
Right.
that was shaped as a goat.
Right.
And that was what got me, because, with the SLS camera, it has multiple colors. It's got that
Depends
blue.
on the
then you
software you use.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so it was a heat signature of a goat.
Right.
And that's what got me. I mean, not even the mapping side of it. Because, again, there was chairs in there, and there was a
Right.
couple poles, but
Yeah.
it wasn't mapping those.
And if
But
you- oh,
the
sorry,
heat
go ahead.
signature.
Well, yeah, and right before that, you hear me go, one of us go, I just saw a shadow in that corner, and that's why I think were behind the camera at that time on the
Yeah.
SLS. That's why you even swung that way.
Yeah.
It looked that way, and that's when you mapped out that thing looked like a goat.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not trying to make comparisons and say what we caught was demonic or paranormal, but we were having some weird things come through.
That night we were
Yeah,
crazy.
like demonic possibly, and
Yeah.
I mean, if you make the 2 and 2 connection, I mean, or the 1 and 1 connection, it's a goat, devil worshipping, satanic kind of a thing. It's a symbolism possibly of
Yeah.
demonic. I mean, not necessarily, but they kind
They're
of
tied together.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But and this
Well,
thing
they-
kept moving around the whole room
Yeah.
that we were able to definitively map, and also just, I mean, different things.
It was a fantastic night. That was
yeah,
a fun
it
night.
was fun. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about that? Because some of the stuff they're saying is it's mostly the mapping thing, mapping the wrong thing. It's on a black screen. All you get these little dots of a stick figure possibly, and it's always a similar type of stick figure where the thing's always reaching for something or whatever, kind of jumbled. But they're saying, people or viewers are saying you shouldn't use it because it's also, the other color things on the side, the other screens you can switch back and forth.
Mhm.
It's not being mapped there, so that's where they're questioning what is actually, or it could be mapped there too.
Well, again, and most of the times that we use ours, with the software that we do have it and what we always use the UV light, the night light, the IR light, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so that, again, that changes your complexity of the screen, and it maps out. You can see the chairs and you can see the poles, but then you can also see the stick figure that is not associated with any of that, that's standing in the room. Or the same night that we caught it with Dave, sitting on the forklift and pounding me in the head.
Right.
Or,
See, that one is pretty compelling. When they asked it to reach out and touch
me.
you, and it did.
and it did. So
the forklift isn't touching you.
Right.
It was something on the forklift
Exactly.
touching you.
and it was kneeling over the forklift touching me.
Right.
So, do I think some of it is false positives? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get that with any bit of equipment that you use.
Exactly.
Every bit of equipment.
Every
exactly.
bit. And you can manipulate a lot of the equipment too. I
Especially
mean,
like a K2, we know
the
if you
K2 and the
if you have a
walkie-talkie.
cell phone or walkie-talkie, where the cell phone is trying to get Wi-Fi connection, whatever, it's going to give you
yeah.
a strong reading, whatever. So we know that's possible. We know with the millimeters, just shaking them around real fast makes the
Yeah.
numbers jump, whatever, So that's a false positive.
Now, I've been doing some tests as well too. Stones. I've been testing with like the aquamarines and the amethyst and the tourmalines. You set them beside a K2, they actually go off.
Really?
So the energies that are portraying from stones are
Wow.
actually setting them off. So, yeah, I've been trying that at the house, seeing what happens.
Well, see,
Just testing theories.
testing things out. I mean, that's what you
Yeah.
have to do. I'm not saying that the SLS is perfect and everything that it maps out. I mean,
Right.
out in Wilson in the cemetery, I knew right off the bat when it was starting to map out the headstones and
Yeah.
other things. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that makes sense though.
Right.
It's an object right there. It's going to try and map it out.
Yep.
So, and it looked all crazy like, but it was trying.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you get those moments like, when Dan in the forklift. I mean, it's actually some weird stuff. And then when we were in Old Fort Dodge, no electricity whatsoever.
Right.
The thing was up on the wall.
It climbed the wall.
and we saw it climb the wall. It was
Yeah.
like kind of up in the corner, and all the machines we had just went off.
Yeah.
The
We had a REM pod there. We had
REM
a
pod
K2.
all at the right moment, just everything went off.
I think when we least expect it, something happens. I mean,
Yeah.
not always, but
Right.
Okay.
Because people were saying, I guess, I haven't seen this because we don't really use it enough outdoors or even indoors for that matter. I mean, we've used it, but they're saying that, I guess, for insects, it tries mapping a human form from an insect. So with that theory, I mean, I've never seen that. We should test that, and we will. What if the Old Fort Dodge, what if that was an insect of some sort or a creature in there, like a rat or mouse, whatever, and maybe it's trying to give it a full body? I wouldn't care, so I
Not
can't
that
say.
I saw. I didn't
Right.
see anything flying around. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always paranoid.
There was bats, or doves, or whatever, or
Pigeons.
Yeah, there were
Pigeons.
pigeons,
That's
but
what it
not
was.
in the room where we
No,
were
I know.
at.
I'm just saying, but
But again, when we mapped out the pigeons with the SLS, when it came down and hit Roth or came at Roth,
love it.
it's a white, like a heat signature, a white light,
Yeah.
because
What
the
did-
IR light's doing that.
What did it do on the mapping in the?
It is a
picture
white
with
ball,
the-
and
was
it,
it?
yeah, it just you can see the kind of the wings flutter.
Chicken dance.
It was chicken dancing. Yeah, but yeah, it was crazy.
I'm gonna loop that over and over. Dan over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that I don't want to quit
Right.
using. Oh, we got to quit using it because of somebody said to. You know, I'm just
Right.
saying.
I mean-
it caught my attention. I mean, we had some incredible people.
I
On
hate
here,
it
too.
when people like him go. I mean, just anybody go and say, "Well, you need to stop using this. You need to stop doing this." Well,
yeah.
you know, it's called research, dude. It's called testing it out. Yeah, we are aware that it's going to have its faults and it's going to have its like issues and everything like that. But in our case, we have had some pretty successful moments with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with all the other pieces of equipment and everything. Do I believe every time the REM pod goes off that it's
Sure.
something? No.
Right.
Sometimes it's just because the battery got drained pretty quickly and it's just going off.
Yeah.
So I
No, I
have to
agree.
go over there and pop the
thing
battery out and put a new one on.
Yeah.
As soon as I do
K2s.
that, it works just fine. And
Right.
it's not going off crazy.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard everybody talk about the K2s in the same light. Oh, there's a piece. I mean,
yeah.
Once
For
again,
a long
they
time.
can be faked, of course, but we don't
Yeah.
fake it. But
Yeah, for a
It
long
can't be.
time people said don't use K2s, that they're not worth it. Stuff like that. So, yeah, I understand it.
yeah,
Everything can be manipulated, and
Yeah.
and it is. People do manipulate that stuff.
right.
However, I mean, if you use the tools correctly, again, it's just another tool in our chest. I mean,
Yeah.
our best tool anybody has is your eyes and ears.
That's what
And-
he
Right.
said. Yeah, one of our good friends said the same thing on this guy's chat.
Oh, good. See,
He said he agrees with I agree with what you're saying. He says researched it when it first came out and looked at it, what it was doing to make the human form. He says it's no more reliable than the human eye brain connection where pareidolia is concerned. You see, his eye is a complete waste of money, but I mean, that's just his opinion. But
yeah,
he does make the same point as you're saying. You know, your brain, your eyes, whatever, your ears.
yeah,
And I've always said, people ask us when we go on ghost hunts to public events or whatever talks we've done, what is your best piece of equipment? Well, and we've said that before, other than your own
always eyes
personal
and ears.
feelings. I always, unfortunately, the audio,
Yeah,
because they can pick up a bigger scope of, than we can even hear, see, whatever.
And
Plus- plus our-
I feel like flashlights are good tools because just taken off the back enough to where it could go on and off on its own
Hmm.
Yeah.
is good in my opinion too.
That's funny. Rita just asked that same question, and Jason answered with the audio equipment. Just because, like I said, we all want the perfect video picture of some ghost, climbing out and whatever, saying hi to us. But we've talked about it, whether it's a stationary camera we have set up in a room, whether it's we're carrying a handheld, you got to be pointing the right direction at the right time. And we've been fortunate to capture a couple of those along the way. What's
Yeah.
up?
You see Charlene is on?
Huh?
Charlene's on.
is?
Yeah.
sweet.
Nope. Hey, Charlene. How you doing? Haven't seen her forever.
No.
No.
That's our friend from Oberlin. Sorry, I
Oberlin.
had to think about where it's been. It's been a hot minute. Which we will hopefully get out there again
Yeah.
someday.
The Decatur last Indian with all the crazy dolls.
And not even just for the ghost hunting. Go if you're out in Oberlin, Kansas, stop in. Hopefully Charlene's still working there. I know she was trying to retire at one point if they let her. But she works at the Decatur County Last Indian Raid Museum, and the grounds itself, it's phenomenal what they have in there. It's
Yes.
a very clean museum. I mean, for what the history they have in there. Not that museums are supposed to be dirty, but it's hard to keep the big buildings like that clean. The old churches, the schools, and all that stuff, in tip-top shape, and she does a fantastic job. And plus,
Yeah.
what I love about Charlene is her history research of things. She has a whole military setup in there of all types of uniforms, everything from World War I all the way up to the current wars. And she has names, dates, who donated, whose jersey, whose uniform this was. I mean, whether
Right.
living or not, the obituary with it. She's a picture of it. I mean, of the person, the individual. It's just fantastic. So,
And you and I have had tremendous luck inside there too.
Yep. Especially in that area. That was
Yeah.
funny. I remember, I'll never forget the time we were doing 2 investigations that night, and Dan wasn't there, and Jake wasn't there, and Andy obviously wasn't there either. But
Yeah, I
It
wasn't
was-
able to make that one.
Jason, Renee, and myself went to this possibly
The house, yes.
The
We
house,
went to the
whatever.
house.
And I picked those 3 because we were the most seasoned, and we didn't know what we were dealing with. It was kind of
It was dark.
darker.
Alright.
And so I left we left 3 other investigators at the museum while we went and did our thing, and we kept radio back and forth. And they went to that area of the museum with the military outfits, and so we couldn't get anything to happen. Blah blah blah. We tried everything. I said, "You guys try this." Yeah, we tried that. Didn't work. And I think it was Roth was over there, and he's like, man, I swear to God, if Leo comes over here and gets something to happen, I'm going to be freaking pissed. I'm going to storm out of here.
10 seconds in.
Within seconds, all I did was play. I found went on my phone, found some like German, the air horns they played during the war.
Yes.
The bombs and all that stuff, you know, they were being dropped, and the things just started lighting up like freaking pinball machine. It was funny. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm just doing what I do.
The energy that brings into a room. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, it's kind of like what I did over in sitting with Brendan inside the old bank building there in that city. Everybody was upstairs.
Oh, yeah,
Him and
yeah.
I were
That's a good
downstairs
part.
on the main floor,
Mm-hmm.
and we just started playing the sounds of a bank robbery.
Nice.
You know, from a movie.
Sure.
You know, I think one of them was Robert De Niro, like running in. You know, this is a robbery. You know, and you got the guns going off and all that stuff. And I kid you not, as soon as we stopped that, and we sat there for a second, we could hear someone walk into the room and like walking toward us. You can hear the footsteps on the ground toward us, and then
Yeah.
it turned and went back toward the kitchen.
Oh, that's when you guys were sitting down in that one
Yeah.
shadow thing.
Well, we were out by the piano.
Oh, okay.
Out in the
main
main
area?
lobby where we had our
Okay.
table and everything, or some chairs and stuff out there.
Okay.
Then we moved over to the.
Well, that's when I found you guys.
yeah.
In that room.
Then we
Okay.
went to that little small
The
office,
conference room. Yeah.
and that's when he had his back to the door. But I had my back to the door, and he's looking at me, and here I am just telling stories of
Mhm.
Jesse James, Billy the Kid, and all that, and then he sees a shadow figure actually step off of the staircase behind me and start walking toward us, and he's like, he kind of tells me in a certain way, like, you know, we're being watched, so just keep talking.
Yeah.
Don't make any moves. And this figure like just paced back and forth, but we just kept playing like bits and pieces of history and
Mm-hmm.
stuff along the way, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's like the place just came to life with them interested on what in the world you're talking about, what you're doing, you know. Like I was just sitting there talking about the old West and telling
Right.
stories, and Brendan's loving it, and hopefully I wasn't boring him, you know. It was 2 in the morning, you know. So, but it worked. I mean, whatever was around us was interested in what we were talking about and doing down there, and
Yeah.
all the noises we were making and stuff.
I've learned that helps because just like whether it's Dan, you, Roth, or whoever playing music wherever we're at, or a certain something that's definitely helped get stuff
Right.
going.
And what I loved, you know, going back to the old Forum Theater, you
I
know.
miss that place.
Brendan and I were down in the basement where they had that. You remember that old stage that was down there,
Yes.
down in the basement, kind of like a banquet room, kind of. We weren't getting anything going on and everything, so I just started going off on other stories and locations and stuff like that. Again, and as soon as I started doing that, within 5 minutes or so, you heard footsteps on the stage actually walking over, and you could actually hear someone kind of like sitting down on the stage, like, I'm here, I'm listening, talk, continue on, you know. So I did, you know, and Brendan's like, someone's listening to us. And I was like, okay, well, I'll continue on. So I just continued telling stories, and you could hear noises on the stage.
that is awesome.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, I mean, just doing stuff like that, I love doing. I mean, I feel like if I turn the attention away from who we're trying to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, because we spend so much time with our focus on them, they probably just left, you know, because
Yeah.
constantly if they're getting asked question after question after question after question,
They're getting irritated. Yeah.
you know,
Sorry.
wouldn't you get irritated? Wouldn't you just
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, okay, that's too many questions, I'm gonna freaking leave.
I'm getting tired of you asking
Yeah.
me my name. I'm out of here.
I'm tired of you asking
How
me
many
to tap a
people-
wall and
yeah.
stuff like that and
People come in
move
there and ask the
something.
same question. Anybody here? Can you say
Because
your name?
if I was that ghost,
Yeah.
I'd be like, guy, freaking ask me a question that I can
Yep.
do and I can, relate to, you know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite meal, fucker?
I mean,
what?
if you could see the spirit, you know, and do you think he's over there tapping on the walls, moving this, doing that, you know? You know, can you make that noise again? I
Yeah.
am, shithead, you know, I am. You know?
I just moved the chair 3 times. Did you hear it?
Carl can't see my beautiful face. Hang on.
Come on.
That's why I'm moving all over the place. They said I was behind the live, up in the corner where it says live. They can't
Oh.
see me. I'm like, are you guys on a phone? Because that probably shrinks the screen.
I
It
like where you're
does.
sitting now. That kind of scares me though.
I'm gonna sit on your guys' shoulder like
That's
the
okay.
Lord.
You know, you could put your face like right here between me and Andy and be like you're part of the crew right here.
Yeah.
I'll do this.
Yeah, just all right here.
So we gotta have
I'll be the
somebody
floating
between
head.
us.
Have you right here.
That's why I was waving to them at home so they could see me. Going back to Nest City, that was a fun place because talking about
Yeah.
that thing that you and Brendan were seeing, you know, the figure.
Yeah.
Remember, right after that, shortly after that, the break happened. We had a break, whatever, like with the public investigation, and everybody was still upstairs. I came down first from the stairs, and I happened to walk past you guys. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And you were telling me about what you guys had just experienced. So you come out of that room, you're talking about this thing. And I'm filming for some reason. I don't know if it's on live at the time or if it was on the
Well,
handheld camera.
When we did this with me and Brendan, this was just the team. This wasn't a public.
Oh, wasn't? I thought it
No.
was. Okay,
No,
maybe
it was one of
somebody
our
was
first
still-
times.
Okay, but I
First or
came
second
down
time.
and you were going through the motions of showing me what happened.
Yeah.
And we caught that shadow thing in the window
Right.
opposite behind you, which it couldn't have been any of us because
I
there was
know,
nobody around.
I know.
And where we were talking about, we were on a, yes, it's the first main floor, but we're also sitting up probably 30, 40, maybe not 30 feet, probably 20 feet up in the air
Yeah.
off the ground, so nobody could be walking right where that shadow person was.
No.
And it used to be in the, sorry, that was a different thing. It used to be in, when we did a promotion out there, I had that video in there, and I slow it down and stop it to where you can see this thing. I can probably find some pictures of it. I will in just a little bit. But the other thing that was so awesome about that was during the public investigation we did out there when, with the famous, that place was packed, so we had to divide them up into all levels.
Yeah.
So Cody and I were on the main and basement level, and I said, Cody, let's break this up because there's just too many people in one area. You know, we're not going to have any interaction. Plus, it's just not fun for the guest. So he stayed on the main floor. I went to the basement with a bunch of high schooler kids, you know, because they were all just. The first thing they said to me, they want something to happen. I'm like, you want something to happen? Okay, I'll get something to happen for you. I said, be careful what you ask for, kind of a thing. So I start asking questions and doing things, whatever. And there's things moving around in the basement room, kind of where that stage. Is that the stage area you talking about, or is this a different place? Nest County? Is that the different place with the stage?
For the stage? That was the forum.
Oh, they said this Nest County. I'm sorry.
Well,
You talked about the shadow
I
person.
jumped because
I
him
missed
and I
that one.
both had
The old Forum
similar
Theater.
experiences
Okay.
from Nest City and the Forum Theater.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're fine.
But going back to Ness, we were in that basement area. It was part gift shop, part original building, whatever.
Part former bank because they had
Yeah.
the vaults
There's a-
down.
there's a
the,
vault down
big
there,
vault
too.
down there and everything.
Yeah. So, I'll answer that question here just a second. I think her name's Rhea. I would say Rhea. She wants to know what place that we investigated that made the biggest impact on us for all. We'll talk about that in just a second.
I
I'm
wasn't
not
there.
gonna. I'm not gonna say the T word.
You know you are.
No.
It's that
You
book right
had
in front
to.
of Dan.
No, I can't because that's not the most haunted place I've ever been to. No.
Me too.
Not the most haunted, but
Uh,
the most impactful.
There's
I
nobody
don't know.
No?
There's another place that's more impact
Yeah.
for me.
Same one I was at.
Nope.
Oh.
Know where you've been.
Well, I know where
Sorry.
you're going. I think. Okay, cool. She said I'm saying her name right. Now I'm going to say it wrong for the rest of the show because that's what I do normally. Not on purpose, just because my mind starts thinking and wondering, am I saying her name right? I do with guests all the time. But going back to Nez County, the bank, or the group of teenagers down there, we were in the gift shop area, and they were asking for something to happen. But they're like, oh, I said, you serious? They're like, yeah, but no. They were kind of like, they were real scared. So I pulled out the SB7 spirit box, speaking of equipment that can be possibly real or not. Started playing, started going asking questions through that. We were getting some callbacks and stuff like that. Well, I always like to go just for, more facts. I'm like, say something, like with all of our names in this room. I'm going to say one of our names in this room right now. Because we have, except for Jason, pretty unique names. And I guess Andy's is, because
Really,
she's a female,
Andrea-
but it's also
Andrea,
spelled, yeah,
but,
Andrea.
I'm gonna start calling you
And
Andrew.
Dan, but we have different nicknames and whatnot and stuff. But anyways, I think one of the girls was named Summer, and the boy's
Yeah.
name was, I can't remember his name. It's something unique
Yeah,
that wasn't
I
common.
forget.
I remember being there, but I can't remember
I
who
can't
it was.
remember.
So I say one of our names through there, and it says Summer. And she's like, like, well, it is. I think it was it summertime? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I'm like, well, okay, yes. But then it said his name, and you're like, oh my god, because then those two names were out of the group were the most unique. And at the time, I didn't know their names, so it could be me manipulating it. I don't know these people other than this is the first encounter with them, and it was the first rotation. So anywho, I was like, okay, we're talking about that stuff. So that's kind of key to this whole thing, because the break's over. People are saying, okay, I think Jason or somebody radios down. Hey guys, time break.
Yeah.
Break number 1, whatever. Not break's over. The
I was
break's
kinda
about to happen.
Regulating the
Right.
shifts.
So we keep it in shifts and stuff like that, so people can get everywhere. So I was like, okay, let's go. So I say I'll lead the group up. They're like, no. We don't like the last one down here. You go behind us. I'm like, okay, whatever. And the light's on. There's like a light in this main area next to the bathrooms. As we're walking out, I see this full color apparition. I think it's Cody, because it looked just like him. Jump out and go, boo! And I'm like, damn it, Cody. I was getting pissed on my mind. Like, you can't be scaring me. You can't be doing jump scares, And Cody's Rose son, by the way. He was on the team at one time. He's more focused with, school and stuff right now and military. But anyways, I was getting mad. I was like, damn it, Cody, really? You're going to do this? You can't do that. But then the thing is, they all go flailing back, 'cause they're terrified. And I look, and that thing's not there. I'm like, well, that's not Cody.
It was just the two of them that fell back, I thought.
Yeah, but that guy was in front. He got pushed. He pushed back, and him and her go toppling over, and about knocked everybody else over. But those two, yes, they fall. They get up. They both have scratches on their same arm, like these scratches on the same. I think it's left arm. Same amount of scratches, same everything. Now, the thing that's so weird about that is, of that group that night, I asked to say a name. Only those two people's names were said through the ghost box, spirit box, and then that. I don't want to say got attacked, but they got scratched at least. And then that thing jumps out. That was me moving probably. My chair that knocks. Yeah, I think my chair moved. Anywho, they, I don't know, they were freaked out. So I was like, I'll go, let me lead you guys up, And they're like, no, can you have somebody come get us? So I radio up, hey guys, can you come get us? They heard the scream in the building. I think you guys were on the 3rd or 4th floor, or whatever floor, and I think somebody heard the scream.
Somebody did, but they
Yeah.
just told me that I needed to head down there.
I said, can you guys come get us? Because
Yeah.
they won't let me go through, and I'm like, I'll lead you through this, I'm not scared to be down there. I
Right.
thought it was fun, and I was pissed because Cody had thought it had scared everybody.
Yeah.
But Cody was up there with me.
Well, he was on the main level at the time. He came down, and the door opens, because I can see him coming down this long stairs, and he comes down the stairway, and it's Cody. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not Cody. That's just scared out. I saw there's somebody down here in full colored apparition. And I looked, I started looking because there was a bathroom right there. I started looking in there, and nobody there, no behind the doors. And I looked around everywhere. I couldn't find anybody. But those kids were so scared. That was the first rotation. They paid for this event. They left. They couldn't hang with us the rest of the night. They were
Yeah, I
so
remember
terrified.
you and I
I had to go
followed
talk
you
to him.
outside because you were out there talking to him. So I went out
Right.
there with you and
Yeah.
trying to calm
They
them
were
down.
shaking
They
still
were
outside before the ride came.
Yeah, they were like, and I had to tell their parents, hey, they got a little spooked up, something happened, but they're safe, It's like, if anything happens, give us a call, let me know, whatever.
The spirit called out your kids' names, so,
Yeah.
They asked for it.
But they did come back
Yes,
after
she
that.
After,
She
the
did.
next
She
day.
has never come back.
rotated.
He never came back. She did.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew at
But-
least one of them had.
And she was in my group, and she I think she found her answers.
Yeah.
And she was calm with it. She was happy with
Good,
the
good.
ending. But because of that incident, never again have I ever said, don't worry about this place. Nothing's ever going to hurt you. It's all fine. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
Well-
say that. It's the paranormal. Anything can happen. A spirit, if you piss it off, can
Yeah.
abruptly do something.
So, go ahead.
But go ahead.
I'll say the caveat to all that, this is where it kind of irritates me with the paranormal, because I'm like, I cannot wait to go back on I always carry my recorder, you guys know this.
Yeah.
And then I get there, the minute I leave, I had my recorder going. So I had that recorded somewhere. Second of all, I had another recorder in that other room, right there on the countertop, one of our white ones we use all the time, the Olympus. That was recording. That one caught it, but it's all muffled. You can't, when that happens, you don't hear the actual, you can hear something, a hint of it. It's not like we heard in real time. I go back and download my stuff to my, I always do, especially when I want to hear that stuff. That's gone. To this day,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
find the audio file anywhere. It just magically disappeared.
Because the
It's-
kid wanted to hear it.
And
He
I wanted to hear it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so did I. I wanted to hear it.
And I was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating about this. We've had this happen in a couple of cases, speaking of Tahlequah, where audio just goes
There
out
it goes.
completely, like because the place is that haunted and it messes
Yeah.
with our equipment.
Or the fact of
crazy.
Wilson, when you completely lose your recorder altogether.
That's oh, I don't
And-
want to talk about that. That pisses me off to this day.
Yeah, you had some of the most
Had the best audio I'm ever
amazing
gonna get.
audio recordings from that hotel and the little girl, and
She
the
was
whole event,
interacting
the
with
whole
us.
night.
Yeah, we followed her out in the hallway from
Yeah.
her room all the way down, not to the sheriff's office, to the opposite way, past the elevators and all that around the corner. And Renee was talking to her, and a couple other women were there talking to her, and they're like, hey, we're here with you, we're moms, and she's answering. We could all hear it with our own ears in that hallway. And my recorder's right here, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is awesome. I come back, my recorder's gone. Like, my actual recorder, not the files. Everything's
Right.
just gone. I'm like, where the fuck's my recorder? I called up there. We haven't seen anything. I went all over.
We searched the soda shop, the hotel, the grounds.
It's gone.
Everything.
To this
Shoot, we
day.
check it every time we go there.
I do.
We check every
I
of the doors and
I've looked in little odd little places. I think, what if it's here? It just shows up one day. What if
Yeah.
it's this place? Where's that place? No. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding.
it's there somewheres.
Well, I hope it shows up one day.
Yeah.
I hope it shows up and mailed back to me mysteriously one day, and like no return ad. That'd be freaking cool.
That would be cool.
Because I want to hear that audio. Because that's something that caught it was my recorder in my hand. Because there was no camera down the hallway. It was shooting the other way. I think shooting the opposite way.
And that's when you caught him running down the hallway as well?
No, that's a different time.
Oh, okay.
That's on video.
Yeah.
But that's, speaking of, the same location. That's the time that happens where we've never seen our cameras do this ever. It was a stationary camera, wired even to DVR.
Crazy camera.
When it starts to happen, a black mist goes over it, and you can kind of see
Yeah.
bottom corner right. You can't see the actual full down the hallway
It just kind of distorts the
Yeah.
whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
view of the camera.
during
as-
that moment. And then as soon as that moment's over and people start coming up, it's gone. That's
Yeah.
back to normal viewing.
But
It's
everybody
like,
heard the footsteps
it's
going
like
down.
what in the hell? Why does this happen?
Yeah.
Because I ran down immediately. I'm like, camera's watching right here. We got this on camera. So I
Yeah.
immediately booked down, and our DVR was down in the basement. I ran down there, rewound to the moment,
like,
and you can
oh.
hear it. You can see it.
It's crazy.
It's like, why does this
Crazy.
happen? I mean, is it the spirits manipulating? Hey, you won't get me on camera. You won't capture me. Whatever. I don't know. Coincidental? Who the hell knows? But I don't know. It's freaking. That's why we do this, because we never know what we're going to capture or see with our own ears. So let's go back to
Most influential.
Rhea.
in this-
Rhea.
in
I'm
this
going to say
area.
her name wrong now. Damn it! You should never told me her name. It's Rhea.
Let's start with these two first.
I was going to say.
Oh,
So what
man.
place that you investigated made the biggest impact on you?
Andy, go.
You
I'm
cowards.
being picked on. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Come on,
first of all,
Come on,
Andy's,
Andrea.
okay, hold on. Andy's one of our newer investigators. She's been with us on a lot of locations as a paying public guest.
For over
Yeah,
10
God, for
years,
years at
since
least.
we could do the forum.
Yeah. So, I mean, we respect Andy, and we know she's been with us in a lot of weird places and stuff, and seen some cool stuff. Anyone without us too, she's been on her own. You've been active in the paranormal field in your own right.
Yeah.
So that's why you're with us now, because you had your own experiences and you can tell your
Yeah.
own tales. But I just want to make sure the viewers know exactly what piece you
Yeah.
play into all this. So, okay, so go with
Yeah.
your favorite place or your most
Oh my
influential.
gosh. There's been so many private residences and public things that we've done, but I guess mine would probably be the forum, because that was my first investigation when it was Everyday Legacy before Road Trip,
Mm-hmm.
even though everybody was kind of on the team.
Yeah, road trip wasn't even a
Then-
thing yet, I don't think.
No.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine, but that night, that place just really stand out for me, because we had so much happen just in the 6, 8, 9 hours we were there.
Mhm.
Just from everything that we saw, and just things happening, the piano playing by itself, and I guess since that was my first experience with the team, that stands out, because you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you don't get anything, and then other times you get more than you bargained for in investigating. But
Right.
just being able to do that with the team, have equipment that I didn't even know existed at that point, or only seen on TV, and there's just memories from that still rank high on my list out of everything we've done
Right.
so far.
The place looks, I mean, that doesn't do it justice. That's just one side of the building. Oh, you haven't seen it yet, guys. There it is. That's just one side of the building that we never even went that way, because we always came in to the school side, whatever, basically. But that view alone is just incredible. I mean, that building I fell in love with it from the first moment I saw it to the moment we left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much charm and character to that place, and
And
There's-
mystery. Mystery.
Lots
to
of
it.
mystery.
Yeah.
just
So what's something that happened to you there? If you can
um,
remember if anything at all. I mean, or what did you witness?
Yeah, I know. Like before we ended that night, all like Jason, Leo, you were there, and Ben and
Yeah.
Claire.
Renee should have been there probably.
Renee wasn't there that night.
Oh, really?
It was just you, Ben, Claire, Jason,
Brandon
and then
probably.
Yeah, Brendan.
Larry.
Larry.
I don't remember.
Was Larry part of the team yet, or was he just there?
I don't remember Brendan being there, but Larry was there.
I
And
know Larry and Cheryl would come before they were even
Yeah.
part of the team.
Uh-huh.
They showed up a couple times.
Yeah, because we did an overnight investigation. You paid to stay with us, and they're the only
Yeah.
two people of all the paying guests, including Roth.
I know.
Yeah.
But Roth had his wife with him and family, so he had to go home. But I think the thinking was, hey, these people were crazy enough to stay with us there, and it was just a team, and then Larry and Cheryl at the time,
Wow.
and so I think about a week later, Claire and them Ben asked him, hey, you want to join the team?
Yeah.
'Cause-
yeah,
which,
And it was a dream come true for Larry.
Yeah.
He was so into it, and
because I remember
Yeah.
him being on the staircase and singing "This Little Light of Mine" with a little girl spirit
yeah,
there.
I've never heard that story.
yeah. Larry has some awesome views and
Yeah.
questions and how
Yeah.
he went about it and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember him in the background because he would just wander off from the group
Yeah.
and do his own thing, and he's asking questions can you see the stars from where you're at? I mean, he went into more
Yeah. a different
in-depth
thinking
questions, which
level.
is what I love.
Yeah.
Instead of asking the same mundane question, ask those kind of questions.
Yeah.
See if you get a response. Can you see the stars where you're at? Maybe so.
Right.
Maybe they're still seeing the same thing we are.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that.
I
Well, the
know.
building doesn't exist to them. They're from the different era where they're
Yeah.
crossing Kansas in that moment, and they're
Yeah.
all they see is stars. They don't see a building here.
But see, I still
True.
hear his voice asking that question, and it's
Yeah.
I think about that often.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think my highlight of that night was right before we closed down because a thunderstorm was coming in, and we were all going to stay
that
the night.
Okay.
And so we were all going to stay the night, but then
I remember
like
that.
Did
some
you?
of y'all decided, okay, we're going to go home, so we're
That was a
tried
bad
to-
storm.
roll up cords, take cameras down, and
Right.
help y'all get everything loaded up before the rain hit. And so right before we start packing everything up, and we're all in the stage area,
Right.
kind of sitting down in chairs talking, and like 2 seats down from me, the seat was up.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I hear the creak and
Oh, yeah.
look over and it's going down.
That
And then
happens so much.
yeah,
Definitely.
then right after that we heard all the banging like something had fallen
Mm-hmm.
back by where you come up the stairs when we went in the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Jason, you
Ben.
and Ben all go running, and all the gals are just like sitting there like, okay, what was that?
I remember that
And-
night. That was the last time we were there as a group
Yeah.
because, that was just one of the last nights. I'll never forget that moment because it was like we chased something that wasn't. That we all tried to meet, and we all came from different directions, and we
Wow.
couldn't. There was nothing there.
And for any of viewers, we talk about Larry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He passed away a few years ago. It was like his dream to be on the team and do something
Yeah.
like this. He was a paramedic for so long. He was a very well respected paramedic in the Cedric County area. I met him when I was 19. I'm 43 now, so I've known him for a long time. But he passed away from cancer a few years ago, and everything. It really devastated the team too. So
Yeah,
It
that
was
was,
a
that
good
was a
man.
tough one.
it was very tough. But
I'll never forget not to take it to that term, but the funeral's what got me. I mean, I was fine,
Yeah.
But if you've never been around a police officer funeral or a EMT or anything, they
Yeah.
do a final, their badge number or their whatever, and it's all they radio in, this is your final whatever, call, whatever I can't
Final
just say.
call.
If your
That
final,
just gives me
and-
goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's when I freaking lost it. 'cause-
signing off.
Yeah, signing off your last call, rest easy or something, whatever. And it's just like, fuck, that
He was awesome.
broke my heart then. I mean, it just, fuck.
He was a instructor at the colleges for paramedics and everything. He was well respected.
Oh yeah.
And man, he gave us so much shit and picked on us and everything during the investigations. But I'll never forget some of the crazy moments with him. That was whole nother story and whole nother topic. But we'll get to that on another time. But a case that we had with him, and we should dive into that sometime. Just
not sure I know which one you're talking about, but
we'll get to it sometime.
I did some that you weren't with involved. It was just Larry and I and Brandon, and we went to a house in Wichita. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Granola.
Oh, that one. Okay,
Yeah.
That was a crazy case too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so.
Yep.
You're
Mr.
up.
Dan.
Dan the man.
Shoot. All right. Well, this is going to be a 2-page book, because I mean I would go with the location that, well, there's 2, 3 most influential that was not team related.
Sure.
Man, it would probably the Bullock in South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
That place was very energetic, very, very sorrowful. A lot of death there, and you felt it. A lot of, I guess it was yellow fever, I believe is what it was that killed all the children, 200 plus in the basement. And you can feel the energy throughout the building. Yeah. So that one probably, I mean, as far as, it's a toss-up between that one and, of course, the Glore Psychiatric Hospital.
I almost brought that one up.
I have a lot of things that happened there.
So Jason, yeah.
Yes, and Jason as well.
Only person in this room has never been there. So
Which one?
You
Sorry.
gotta,
Glore.
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 Only
you
person
gotta
hasn't
go
been
there. I got touched last time.
Whoa.
Well,
Calm yourself.
laying in the morgue in the cooler.
I never got to do that. It was all roped off and everything. They just I didn't even know if we had permission to do it. But when I went, it was just me, my folks, my mother and son, and then the Miller group.
Yeah.
So it was a very small group of people, and I didn't even know anything about frickin' tunnels or anything like that.
Oh yeah, the tunnels are awesome.
I had no idea.
We've seen shadows down there, not in the actual main tunnels. The tunnel that goes off to the old hospital, not to the one that goes to the prison. So if you go straight down towards all the paintings, that's a cool area. But if you take the immediate left by where the they look like crematory burners, large like broilers. That tunnel there is very dark and very somber. Man, as far as the locations that we've all done together, most memorable, most influential would probably be tossed between the Depot Theater and Fort Dodge. I mean, I had some fun over-exaggerated experiences at Fort Dodge when somebody's kicking rocks down a tunnel, and then I actually got hit, and I got called white trash there by something that wasn't in the room on an SB7. You know,
You get a lot of nicknames.
yeah. So that place was very influential, and again, Fort Dodge. I mean, yeah, and then we go to the Depot Theater. That place is never let down. It's the same yet different every time. You know, and the spirits are there, and they're always welcoming or unwelcoming, and it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Very, very personable. Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Probably would have to go with the Forum Theater. Because I mean, at the time I only knew it as the church.
Yeah.
When I first went to, and this was before I ever became a member of the team, or even knew who any of them were.
Yeah.
It was just my brother and I paying guests, being there with the Miller group, who I would meet for the first time, Kathy Ramirez, who I would meet for the first time, and Janet, who is of Janet and Grant, who owned the place.
Right.
We were the only ones there in the building.
Nice.
The place was that church that you all just saw a little bit ago. It was in total disarray inside. I mean, you never even got to see how junked up that place was.
I came in just slightly after they started making changes.
Yeah, they'd already cleaned up the main lobby.
Which we have pictures of
And everything like that. But for me, that first night, and tell me if I'm gonna go long-winded here, but
No,
that
like
first night that I was
We're gonna
ever
go
there,
long-winded.
it was I was just kind of a newbie to all this. It was back in very beginnings of 09, I think it was. End of 08, going into 09, I guess. Total disarray, junk everywhere. The congregation of the church had up and just left, leaving down in the basement. I mean, just describing the church, there's no way to actually give you a great idea of how big this place was. There's multiple staircases that went everywhere. Had a basement that had, the basement itself went forever. It seemed like that had offices to different, I don't even know all these rooms that they had that they used. There was a whole nother stage room for plays or banquet hall or anything like that. You know, I don't know what they use it for. The kitchen itself was gigantic, and it still had dishes in the sink.
The dumbwaiter.
It
right?
was, yeah, they had an elevator to the place, but also they had a fallout shelter that went even further down.
Yeah.
Which we got to see it and everything. We just didn't do any of the old, we didn't do a lot of investigating down there. But then it had a second floor and a third floor kind of in a way there that it just went on forever. But anyway, that night just impacted me big time for the fact that the first time I've ever been around a medium, I always thought mediums were just, well, I'll just be honest, I thought they were full of shit. I had no idea, you know, it's just stuff you see on TV. It's not something that you deal with in real life. But with the Miller Group, there's a woman named Misty, and she talked with me during dinner, and she seemed legit. She worked out there with the police department out in St. Joe, Missouri, and helped with cases and got convictions and helped them get convictions. So she did her reading of the church and all that, and it was pretty cool just to watch her go through and tell us what she's feeling after she'd already gone through. She'd never walked through there before, and this was her first time. But she got up there to the second floor where the pastor's study was, and it's just a small little room. It's the only room that had a lot of damage to it. It had some water damage down the wall. Only room with a fireplace. Had a huge ceiling to floor like bookcase with all the books and stuff like that, and a couch, and it had a window, the stained glass window, typical church stained glass window, and pictures in multicolored. It was beautiful. Well, we're looking in there, but there's a closet next to it that we hadn't, Janet hadn't. I don't think she'd ever been in it yet. They hadn't found a key to it or anything like that. So, Kathy and I were like, well, why don't we just, break in? And Janet's like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. So we basically we broke into it, We jigged it, and, here we go. So we popped it open, and there's this weird closet next to the pastor's study out in the hallway.
Right.
And it's all concrete, and there's all this junk inside. There's an old medicine bag inside, doctor's bag. There's some shelves in there, but just stuff that looks like it hasn't been touched in decades, almost. So when Misty took a step forward, she just stopped, and her mood changed completely. She went from, this is, I see a guy down the hall who's wanting us to get away from here. He's very angry. He doesn't like us being up here around his stuff. And then she got closer to that closet and she goes, I don't like what I'm seeing here at all. This is actually where he puts them when they're being bad. And I actually see him holding one of them down. And that's all she said. Nothing more. That's all he said. So, you know, when more of the story came out, and when that story came out to the team that I would eventually be on, you know, I think they took it in the wrong direction.
I agree.
And did a lot of assuming, and the next thing I know, they're talking about child molestation and stuff like that, and that they were blaming the first pastor when Misty never gave a name. I was there, I know. She never gave a name. She just said, he just puts them in there when they're being bad. So Kathy and I sat in there. Kathy nudged me and she says, you and I, we're staying in there tonight. And I'm like, okay, lady, I don't know. You know, because I just met Kathy and I'm like, okay. So we sat in there. We had audio recorders. We were trying to communicate with if there's any kids in there. We were getting nothing. I mean, it was just dead silent. You know, the church was eerie that way. Had just a weird feel to it. You know, it's like eyes are watching you the entire time.
Yeah.
And I know Leo and Andrea here can, you know, can attest to that. I mean, you can't go anywhere in that place without you're being watched. You're either going to be whispered to, touched, somehow. Something's going to happen.
I think the only place that I really didn't feel like I was being watched was going up into that organ loft because you had to go up one set of stairs.
Oh, I got another story for
You
that.
scared the shit out of me that night.
Did I?
Ben took Becky and I up to the organ loft, and we were coming back down, and I was almost to the bottom because I was coming down first just as you stepped up.
I'm sure I didn't mean to.
Right?
No, I really try not to scare people because I know it can be bad there.
I know, yeah. I still kind of laugh about that because it was just funny.
Well,
right timing.
Well, so when Kathy and we got bored sitting in that area, so we left and we went around the place because it was such a messed up, trashy place at the time because people were just storing stuff in there. So therefore, I went in. We were like, let's go find some toys. Let's bring in some toys for that room. So we did. She went and found some old books, and I found a baseball. So we went back in there and we sat down. She laid the books out. I put the baseball in the middle of the shelf. I pounded on the shelf a little bit to make sure that the ball wasn't going to move, and it didn't. So we sat there some more, maybe a good 20, 30 minutes more. Finally, nothing. So we were like, okay, let's go meet up with everybody else. So we walked away. I was gone maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I went to go get my brother, who hadn't seen the closet yet. So I went and got him. And Kathy, and I could already hear her meeting up with the rest of the group. So my brother and I, being the only two guests there, we ran back up there to the closet. I was like, here's the closet. I said, I found a baseball, and I put it on the shelf. And I stopped because the ball's not where it was supposed to be when I pointed. And the ball's now over here on this corner, and it rolls. And I'm like, okay. I made sure that it wasn't going to move. And being a newbie, I grabbed the ball, instead of doing anything, at the time, I didn't have the greatest camera phone or anything like that either. But, I grabbed it, and I put it back where I had it, and then it dawned on me I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have just kept it where it was and shown Kathy. But anyway, and I'm testing it out, and it wasn't moving. It wasn't moving. You had to actually move it yourself to do that. So I grabbed my recorder and everything, and it's still going. I'm like, I'm sure we caught something. It wasn't until I got home, and my mom and I were actually going back and listening to it and everything, because she was fascinated by the idea of it all. Sure enough, as soon as Kathy and I leave from that spot the first time, or the second time, you hear children giggling inside the room in that little closet, and then they run off. You hear them running off, and they're still giggling and laughing as they're running down the hallway. It was like that awe moment, like, oh my God, I did it. I caught something that's fantastic. It's amazing. You know, the little
Right.
children that they keep talking about. But since that time, I have 50 other stories I could tell. Because I later on got keys to the place.
Yeah.
It became a place where, I took the bus tours into it, and even the naysayers that were like, "Oh, ghosts are stupid. I don't believe in any of this." I'd take them in there for 20 minutes, bring them back, and I swear to God, they'd all have the same reaction.
Yeah.
They're like, "I can't explain what I just saw or heard because
That's
something always happened."
that's how I met Jason and the team, and
Yeah.
at the end of our trolley tour before I did that
Yeah.
first investigation, the whole group was kind of going all through the place, and
Yeah.
we were getting ready to walk out, and that's when nobody was near the piano, and it just started playing on its own.
Yeah.
We all looked to make sure that it wasn't one of those ones that could play by itself.
Yeah, I've never heard the piano play on its
Never
own
did
before.
me
So
either.
but going
That would be
back
awesome.
to one of my last nights there,
Nope.
before we actually had to stop going, even though I still have a key,
Mm-hmm.
we had to stop going because Janet and Grant had to sell the place.
Right.
And all the production was shut down and all that. So it is now back to being a church, and they are totally against us going back in.
Right.
Even though they have contacted us, and
Yeah.
even some of their patrons have petitioners or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the hell they are.
Patrons are people that pay, so yes, you're right.
Yeah,
kidding.
well, they do pay, right?
Yeah.
They pay every Sunday.
Yep.
But let's
Cover
see. What's that?
I said pay a cover charge.
Yeah.
Kidding.
But even the people that have come on the bus tour who go to that church, they're
Yeah.
like, "I came on this tour because I knew you were going to come by my church." I was like,
Yep.
"Your church?" I said, "I've got 6 years ahead of you on that one."
Right. Yeah.
And everything. And she goes, "Oh, there's so much creepy stuff that happens there all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And it freaks a lot of people out."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, then get us back in there. Do something about it. But okay, so my last night there, I took a buddy of mine from the hospital, Jay.
Right.
He was always, he's been on a few investigations with us and stuff, but he
Oh,
was
yeah.
really wanting to get in there. So I was like, yeah, let's go. So we waited till it was close to midnight,
Mm-hmm.
and we went. And we're walking along and everything, and immediately as we're in the sanctuary, you could hear talking coming from somewhere. Knowing that I'm the only one in there, and especially since I have a key and Janet and Grant weren't around or anything, I said, let's walk around, make sure nobody's here. We get down to, as we're going to go down toward the basement, I could hear some doors closing and stuff like that, just opening and closing, which is a common thing there. So we go back in the sanctuary, and all of a sudden, from above, we hear this scraping sound, like metal scraping sound, but it was real light, but you could hear it because it was so silent in there. And it's just the two of us, and you just hear this scraping sound on metal. I was like, what the hell is that? I've never even heard that before. So we go upstairs over the balcony there in the sanctuary, and we're looking around, and I got my hands on the railing, and I just start moving, and I had my fingernails that scraped along the metal. Same exact sound. Like fingernails on metal right there. And I'm like, oh, that's eerie. And as soon as that
Right.
happened, that door that leads to the classrooms that's there up there
Oh,
in
yeah.
that area,
Mm-hmm.
we could hear a full-on conversation between two women going on down there. And, the look on his face is like, I don't know if I want to go. But yet he did, So we charged down there, and there's nobody there. Not a single person. Then we come back out, and I remember going back out to the sanctuary, just, there on the second floor, overlooking. And I'm looking down toward the stage, and I had always heard this story from Janet about them hearing this.
Uh-huh.
Not during the whole time had I ever heard it. And I've been in there so many times, even by myself at times, to go look and grab some things. But for a good 5 seconds or so, the sound of orchestra music just erupted inside the sanctuary. just like a full-on string quartet orchestra was in there, just came to life, and then it just faded. And that's something that Janet had always said, that they'd walk in and they'd hear this music playing, you know. And it wasn't like a stereo or radio. This was
Right.
like coming from the stage, and it was amazing. It was truly amazing. And honestly, that was like for me a good send-off, since that was my last time in there. That was kind of like a cool send-off.
Just trying to find.
But
Just talking about that picture of the hallway. This is it right here. The school classrooms.
yeah.
You'll see it here in a second. They're on delay.
And see, yeah, the place had classrooms that almost made me feel like a Catholic school, even though I'm not Catholic and I've
Yeah.
never been there. But it almost had that feel of like
Yeah.
I could just see nuns walking around and with their ruler and wanting to smack the shit out of you and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah,
But-
most of those times we were there, those doors were always open. It seemed like,
Yeah.
or a couple of them were. No, the middle one was always closed. It was the first one, and you could come out. The very last one at the end of the hallway was always open, propped open for some reason.
yeah.
And we could always see. And there's little glass windows you can see, but they're frosted, so you can't see through them, right?
Right. Well,
Or can you? I can't remember
Oh.
because it was always dark.
yeah,
I don't
can't
remember.
remember. I think you can see through them.
But you could always see because it was pitch black up there most. This picture was taken in pitch black. It just the flash went
Yeah.
off. That's why it looks like it's illuminated. But
I'll
at the end
never.
of the hallway, you could see things peeking his head out all the
Okay,
time.
so this picture, keep that up there
Nope,
for a
take
second.
that down.
Please, no, come on. So, the night of Roth's little, joining of the group and everything like that,
Right.
His
Ben and
bathroom
I
break.
took Roth there to do some paperwork and everything and just talk to him about what to expect and everything with this.
Yeah.
So, we're down in the sanctuary talking and everything like that, and we kept hearing this banging sound up there on the second floor, just bang, bang, and it sounded to me like a door trying to be like popped open, or was banging on something, So we're listening to that, and okay. So we run up there, and we're in the pastor's study because it sounded like it was coming from that.
Which is from this picture is the opposite side of the
Yeah,
building.
opposite side.
Sorry,
So
go ahead.
we're like in the. So I have a reason why I want you to keep this picture.
Okay.
Up. So we're in the pastor's study and we're trying to figure out where that noise is coming from and everything. And I noticed that the door is kind of it's propped open by a little metal weight thing.
Just a door stopper.
No, door stopper, thank
Yeah.
you. But it looked like it had moved. So I went over there and I grabbed the door and I just kind of pushed it a little bit to hit the door stopper, and it was the same sound. The
Oh,
door
like
itself was trying to like open or close, is what it was trying to do. But they could. Whoever was manipulating it didn't have the strength to actually close it through that. So we go back downstairs. We're down there again by the stage, and we're talking to Roth. And we're talking about how evidence, we need to go over evidence, and that's something that is very vital to the teams. Everybody's got to pitch in and do that. And I kind of stopped Ben, and I said, I bet not everybody goes through everything of evidence, because I said, there's a piece of evidence of me up in the classrooms area, walking the hallway. I decided to be all big and mighty and not use my flashlight as I walked toward the camera, and I was going to go past it and go beyond. I said, there's a reason why you use your damn flashlights, because I didn't see the chair that was in the way, and I
I've done that.
I tripped over that and face planted right on the ground with that, because it hit my cheek right on the ground. I just stood up, looked at the camera, I bowed, and then went straight into the classroom and total embarrassment. I said, that was so funny to me. I said, I had to even laugh at that in the classroom. I said, I was embarrassed, but thank God nobody saw it, and nobody has watched it because no one's giving me crap about it. And I said, again, it's so funny. And from above, up in the sanctuary, you hear a little kid giggle and go, yeah, it was. And the look on Roth's face was pure terror. He's just looking up at the at the stairs, at the second balcony,
Right.
or at the balcony, and he's just staring and his mouth's open. And he's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Even the spirits laughing at me." Oh dear God!
I put Jason on there. The reason I put him up there, he's standing down in the sanctuary,
Yeah.
The stage is right above him where the water bottle is.
Hey, that's you
But-
up there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I want to
that's
say it's me
weird.
or Brendan. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But reason it's kind of important because if you look up above Jason's shoulder left, if you go follow it clear to the corner of the picture, there is like a light door, like an entryway. That's where the pastor's office was, back in that area, down a hallway. I don't have any pictures of it. I can't find any pictures of the pastor's area, but I have other
Up
pictures.
there on the second floor.
Yeah, that would be relevant to where
Yeah.
it would be over Jason's left shoulder, just up in the corner.
Yeah.
There's other pictures I have, or I've caught, or I found
But
that are intriguing, like the old sanctuary.
I do have more to say about the hallway, though.
Dang it, Jason! I just took it off.
No, I'm sorry.
But no, you're fine.
Okay, but everybody's been looking at it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So that same moment after Roth is scared to death with the with that voice and everything, we
Right.
take him up to the we gave him a walkthrough.
Right.
And we went up there to check on the door again, see if it was anything's going on. And then we went into the classroom area, and looking down that hallway is the doors, like you said, is usually propped open.
Right.
So Ben and I and Roth are like walking along through there, and Roth makes the comment, "Is that a head down there looking through the window at us?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he kind of saw some movement,
Like always, yeah.
and Ben and I kind of turned and looked, and the figure, like, from the window, it was standing on the other side of the door. It, like, leaned over and, like, looked at us, and then it just stood up and took off into the classroom, and, we left Rose standing there because he didn't know what to do, but Ben and I took off running. I mean, that place was just amazing that you never knew what it was going to do
So
or be
you'd
like.
think Rose would be conscious of that, because that was the place where I first met him ever, where we had that little girl in that room, middle classroom, where he saw, and with him and I, when people in that room, we saw that shadow of her, and then I about stepped on her. Remember, with the group
Right.
came in with Jeremiah and everybody.
Yeah.
But I got some audio we can play from those places.
Yeah,
What you see on
absolutely.
the screen right now is still the Forum Theater Jay's talking about. This is the original, what it looked like with the choir loft before they tore it
Yeah.
down. What they did was they sealed that door that's open. That goes towards Ernest.
Is that the choir loft?
Yeah, that goes towards the
Wow.
pastor's office. If you go to that door, there's another door back there. You walk out of that door, and to the left would be the pastor's office. You can't really see it, but
Man, they'd already
what they
taken
did was they nailed that door shut, so you couldn't get out of that door anymore. Because then they cut off where the chairs are. They cut that off, remember, and they brought it back to where it was just one solid room anymore after that.
because they'd already taken the chairs away.
Yeah, when I got there, the chairs were gone already.
Yeah.
The doors were nailed shut.
When I first started going there was all these old 1940s looking push down chairs, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. But everybody who was up there, including from Jeremiah to Nicole to
Mhm.
others, had people whispering in their ears as they sat there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Like I said, people always ask me what was, when I first started this journey, there's like, what was your favorite haunting place to go to? I was to the Forum Theater. It's the most haunted place in Wichita. Because if you didn't go there and have something happen to you, you weren't listening or trying hard enough.
I still feel like it's one of the most haunted locations I've ever been to.
Same.
Yeah,
Not
I
me,
agree
but
with
yeah.
that.
Well, just for
It
the
equals
fact
up to the top three, probably.
every time I go there, something would happen.
Yeah, I agree. That's when I heard the growl. I've been growled at there. I've been.
Yeah. I had
that's the
that
place
my first
really
night.
freaked
I
me
was
out.
growled at in the choir loft. I was actually growled at.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
standing up against the wall behind all the seats and stuff, and it just this heavy, deep growl, and everybody turned to look at me, and I'm like, it wasn't me,
Right.
I know
So-
Leo's house. I know Leo's location. But we'll wait till he goes. Yeah.
Okay. I bet you don't. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, dude.
You do. So this is just some of the audio we cut over the years. Like, I don't know if this is going to translate, but yeah, if you have headphones at home, you want to throw them on because there's different ones. This is one of the first ones I ever went to the place. We went there just for an interview with Janet, see if we can even come back in. And I'm walking through. I was the last person walking through because that's just what I do. My recorder was listening, and someone tells us to go.
I think you
away.
were right behind me.
Probably. There you go. Why isn't it playing? Hang on.
Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something, okay. Just an example there. Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something, okay. Just an
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Something. We were doing doing an actual investigation,
Yeah.
I guess, at that time. But you can hear something say, "Go away."
Yeah.
Plain as day.
Oh yeah.
What I was doing. Wow, that's weird. You're starting to mess up. I shouldn't have done this.
Uh-oh.
Like the screens are getting all weird, but okay, we'll just keep on going. This one, speaking of, I want to say this is a classroom because up there, one of my first times even being there. Well, one of the last times when Larry was there, we did the overnight stay, and this door that got slammed upstairs, and I was the only person awake at the time. I was watching the DVR 'cause I can't sleep. I'm a light sleeper, and this door slammed in the building. This isn't the same time, but this happened all the time. This door slam, hopefully it plays. I don't know if it's going to. We'll try it.
Did you hear that? It came from down the hallway. Did you hear that? It came from down the hallway.
So that was the classrooms, and a door got slammed down there.
Is that me?
That's Ben.
That was Ben.
I think it's Ben and I, because I think it was during one of the public investigations, because there's another second part to that, and it was your cousin Andy, I want to say, and not this Andy,
Is it
boy
your
Andy,
cousin?
like Rose says, girl Andy. They're in, and I can't remember her name. She used to work. Was she a veterinarian assistant or something? I can't remember the girl's name. The one that Andy kind of liked.
Oh geez, I can't
I
remember.
can't remember. It's been a long time. So this is them in a classroom and her friends, but they're in the classroom. Ben and I are outside the hallway. We have this file cabinet. I think this is the one.
Where are you planning on going right now anyway?
I just got me a cold chill. That's the plumbing.
Oh, I know who's in it.
Tom.
Because it sounds just like that on the third floor.
Uh-huh. Oh, is that what you were in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Now that isn't.
Are you in the closet?
That was a different one. Sorry, that's a file cabinet getting slammed. Where was that at? That was you.
That was down in
Nicole,
the
and Claire.
office.
Down in the basement, right?
Yeah, down in the
Okay.
basement in the office where the scream had originally come from. That,
Right.
the famous scream from the place.
Right.
But yeah, that was Jeff, Nicole, myself, and Claire.
Claire in that room. That's right.
That's where I had that little sensor.
Yeah, I'll play that next.
Okay.
Because the reason I thought it was me and Ben, because we had a file cabinet upstairs in the classroom area.
Yeah.
This is years later. This is one of the first times you were there with EOP, right? Or were you in part of the group yet? Do you
What?
remember when this file cabinet with Nicole and you and Claire and?
Oh, this was a public event because we had Jeff
Was it?
there and Nicole was there and
Okay.
yeah, that was our group
Yeah,
that night.
I gotcha. So, this is the thing that Jason was starting to talk about. I don't remember if this is the edited version or not. If not, you're gonna hear a cuss word, which is your buddy.
Oh, that's all right. Everybody hears
Because
us cuss anyway.
But
So
this is a piece of equipment we haven't used in years. And I know Jake bought one. He didn't like it, but his didn't have the cell sensor with it.
right,
He just had the piece. I have mine somewhere over there.
yeah.
It's called a cell sensor. It has like a probe has a wired probe you can lay out. And we had some good evidence with it. This
Yeah.
is one of the cases.
We had a lot of probe jokes too.
Oh,
all the
there's-
time.
So, but
Yep.
you'll hear this. This is self-explanatory. And as you get close to this thing, it picks up EMF and whatnot. You'll hear it get faster. So,
This actually was in the Eagle too, wasn't it? It was on
Yes.
their
Wichita
website.
Eagle. Yep.
Yeah,
So this is also down in the office area. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The basement.
same room,
Okay.
same room.
Same time.
Yeah,
Okay.
same night,
Or
same
same night. Should I
same
say?
rotation.
Okay.
I know the history of this place.
That's Jason.
God.
I've heard the bad things.
Go closer to him. Now even closer.
I think that's her.
If that's the woman, step back. Make it stop. If you're earnest, make it go crazy. There you go, you got
Back up to
your
3.
answer.
Why don't you come over here and mess with me? chicken. Sorry. In a church. Chair.
It's done.
That's hilarious.
And
That's
that
funny.
chick was in the
Jason's
room.
buddy.
Can
What's his
I
name,
just
Jeff?
can I just say that wasn't the chair?
It wasn't?
No,
Oh,
all
that's
night
hilarious.
long he kept blurting out gas
Yeah.
instead of chair. So
That's
good old
hilarious.
Jeff.
So it was around long before the Jake breaks.
Yeah,
The best part of that, because he goes, chicken shit, and then he's like, sorry, I'm in church.
I'm
He's
in
just like,
church.
instant.
like, oh, I should.
Well, the thing was, I mean, that was a story like the time going around, like Jason mentioned earlier about the molestation, possibly. But I think it was just back in the days, like you said, it was just you discipline a child, you put them in a room, or you smack their hand with the wrist with the ruler. That was okay, acceptable punishment back then. I think like Jason alluded to earlier, the stories just got convoluted along the way, and said, we went from discipline to abuse to child abuse. It's like,
Yeah.
And I think back then in school, especially like in the one-room schools and stuff, they would use the, like you said, the little rulers and
Yeah, I just hated how it all went
we
in
didn't
one
know.
direction, and then
Nobody knew at the time.
Well, I mean, I started doing my own research and just
Right.
thinking about it and stuff.
Right.
And having been there on not the first investigation, but the only investigation that Misty and the Miller Group had been there, I was on that one.
Right.
Nothing like that was ever said.
Yeah.
So
Other than
therefore,
she didn't
that's
like
why
that room. Yeah. That's about it.
I butted heads with some of the people on the team
I
about that, and it
Yeah.
became a huge argument. And well, screw it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
Part of our group, part of our history.
They weren't there, so therefore they can't make up that kind of assumption.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can do it all, but I wasn't going to be a part of it. I was going to stand my ground that we had no idea. Plus, we had no name to go
At the
along with
time.
who was putting them in there. So they assumed who was doing it. I still think it's the second pastor who did it.
Yeah.
That's my assumption.
We'll
So
never know.
yeah.
I mean, I can play evidence all day if you want me to.
nope, we want to hear about
No, I'll play evidence all
Yes,
day.
Leo.
No.
We still got time. We got 30 minutes still. We gotta go through.
Yeah, but we talk about your stuff, huh?
Oh, we talk about my stuff all the time. All right. Fine.
What's yours?
I don't have any.
Damn it.
Oh, please.
Nothing bothers me. Just kidding. No, Dan's probably knows what. Well, and I've got a couple. I won't go through all of them. We talk about them all the time. Tahlequah's being one of them, just because of the experiences we had down there. Like I said, I was a little on the edge because it's a Native American land, and I never really, at the time, hadn't really experienced anything. So going down there, I was on edge to begin with. And the minute I stepped out of the car, I felt like we were being watched immediately.
Yeah.
And we were.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of stuff we talked about, from Bigfoot to UFO lights to the shadows to the thing in the forest with me, the woman in the forest. That was probably one of the ones that stuck with me because it followed me back to Kansas. Even though I made the point to say, hey, you need to stay here, this is where you belong, you're not allowed on my property, and it came and showed up outside my property the next day, not on my property, but the edge. And it's like, hey, I could be here if I really wanted to. But then I saw that big black mass out there. But the one that Dan's thinking of was probably David Omens. Is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the only reason why is because I've
That's
been
pretty recent too.
It's, 2019?
Yeah.
December of 2019.
Yeah.
The reason it's such a big get for us because David watches our show occasionally,
Uh-huh.
and he's out of California. If anybody doesn't know who David Oman is, he's owns a house in Beverly Hills, California. It's 150 feet where the Sharon Tate, the book's right there, matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's 150 feet where the Sharon Tate murders happened by the hands of Charles Manson. So it's a big to-do in our history, happening August 8, 1969, I believe it was. So David didn't know at the time. I mean, he probably knew, but he didn't realize at the time when he bought the property, he purchased a piece of land. He was trying to build a bigger house. He had a couple of houses he rented and whatnot. Back in I think the 90s is when he first got there to this house, and he was like, his dad's like, I found this property, it's so cheap, you gotta get out here now because it's gonna be picked up pretty quick probably. So David went out there. I think he bought it for like $30,000, the property,
Oh wow.
which is not much for California real estate. And he went out there and he's like looking around. He's like, "Why is this so cheap? What's the catch, Dad? What's going on?" And he looks over and he notices this gate and this house. And he's like, "Okay." And he starts thinking about it more. And I think he does some research on it. And he's like, "That's why it's so cheap. because it's 150 feet from where this murder happened back in the
And
60s.
nobody wants to live there.
Right, and there's still houses there. There was 2 houses originally there that
Right.
when the murder happened that were down the street from him. Anywho, he went there, and he'd been buying it, and over time he would start, because it's built into the side of a mountain. I mean, if you ever seen, I can pull up his house. I will here real quick while I still talk the story. It's built into the side of this mountain, and it's built on stilts, whatever, and tiers. So it's pretty, just an awesome site as it is. I'll get it pulled up here while I talk. Like I said, maybe.
Can Leo do 2 things at once?
No, I can't. Honestly, there we go. This is a perfect picture of it. I'll pull it up. So what makes this house exciting is, like I said, ever since he started building it, things started happening. Like, he had workers would quit on him because he's like, they'd be there by themselves, and he was like, they'd tell him, and they're of course Hispanic, they're like, we don't want to be here anymore. And he's like, why? He's like, because it's the 3rd story, and they're building the bottom half first. I can hear stuff above us walking around, and it's freaking me out, whatever. And they'd be the only person in the building at the time, at the house. Everybody else was going home for the day, and it scared the crap out of him, basically. So he didn't like that. The workers didn't like that, which I'm like, that's awesome. I'm all excited. When Dave was like, whatever, at the time. The more he stood there, he stayed there, doing things, building things. Along with him, he started experiencing stuff of his own. And over time, he didn't know at the time who it was until he saw a figure outside the window here. God dang it, where the hell's my stuff? Sorry. I can't do 2 things at once, apparently.
You're doing well.
So anyways, David saw this figure outside, and he looked out the window, and this is on the main level as you pull up on the mountain,
Right.
which is the top level, and then goes down 2nd and 3rd. He looked out his window. He saw a figure of this dude. He's like, who's that guy out there? And he's thinking, holy shit, I can't see this guy because this is up in the air, number one. Nobody could be standing physically out there where he's seeing this figure. And at the time, he didn't know who it was until he did some research. It intrigued him. He went down to like the Historical Society or whatever, some library and stuff, and started looking about the murders, and he realized the person he saw was Jay Sebring, who was one of the murder victims, who was the hairstylist that was friends with Sharon Tate, dated her
Right.
one time, happened to be there at the same time of the murder, and this is who we saw that night. Here's the house. I'm pulling it up now. So this is Mr. David Oman's house out in California. You can't see it yet because I haven't clicked on it yet. This is it right here above Jason's head, or on Jason's head and Andy's face. So what he's talking about, the window, is, and that's all his property. There's a window that would be the right of the screen above that little tree. People at home, they probably can't see it. I'll show you guys the screen. Right here, this is the window he saw
Jesus.
this
Really?
figure out, and it's impossible because it's either that one or I want to say it's that one.
So right there where the R is, everybody in cryptic
Yeah,
on the screen up here.
I could probably point to it if I'm clever
Yeah.
enough. Can't find my hand. There it is. So, right, my hand's going to get cut off. Anyways, right where that tree line is, above the staircase you've seen going down the side of the mountain, it's the first one or the second one. I want to say it's the first. It's probably the second one because that's where his kitchen was, and he saw this figure hanging up in the air, basically, and it's impossible. So anyways, David's house is known. It's been on all the paranormal shows.
Right.
I've been infatuated with the Manson case since I was young because I love history. I love scarier things like serial killers and all that stuff. I love it all. Ghost hunting and all that stuff. That's what got me all into this.
And
So I've
criminal
always-
justice.
Criminal justice major, yeah. So I like to investigate and think outside the box kind of a thing. Not everything's paranormal that you experience, but
Right.
I want to find a reason as to why. So, anyways, I got to investigate. Well, like I said, David watches our podcast, and we'll have him back on the show again. Last time he was on there, speaking of, the audio was all messed up. Go
Yeah.
figure, haunted house, notoriously haunted house out in California. Anyways, we went. He was watching it, and he happened to say, "Hey," it was like back in November. He's like, "If you guys ever want to come out, you guys just let me know." I was like, "Huh." Just so happens I'll be going out there for work in December of 2019, like a month later, a couple weeks later. I was like, I'll be out there. The offer stands. He's like, oh, yeah. I'll talk to you at the show. I'll give you my number. He gave me his number. I was real hesitant because, this is, like I said, been on every show from Ghost Adventures to Ghost Hunters to My Ghost Story to you name it.
Other documentaries, everything.
It's known out there. So I know this guy. I was kind of starstruck when I was like, am I really going to get a chance to investigate out here? Even the days leading up to it, I didn't know if I was going to get to. So I went out there and I called him the day of. And I was like, hey man, I'm out here. We still good? Oh yeah, come on out. Because actually, if you want to come out a little earlier, I'll put you on my podcast. I'm like, holy shit, this is weird, but all right. I'm talking to this guy who, in my mind, is a celebrity. As far as that goes.
No, he is.
Yeah, I mean,
in our field.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I went there, got to do his show, which we had a blast on the show, which I know Dan was watching because I saw you commenting that night.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people were here back in Kansas were going to bed or sleeping because his podcast started at 7. Their time, which our time would have been 9 o'clock, so people were on a Wednesday night, so people were probably winding down and whatnot. But
I just had surgery. I was
that's
up
why you
all
were out.
night.
Yeah, so we get to watch and experience stuff.
I passed out.
That's okay. I didn't know if I was going to make it because I was there till 3 o'clock their time, and I had to be up early in the morning to go work the next day. And anyways, out there, but went there the podcast, and then I walked in there. He had a REM pod sitting on his desk, and the thing just started lighting up. I'm like, holy shit, And he's like, you brought that shit in with you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know you. He's like, you brought that shit in with you. I'm like, I kind of laughed. I said, probably. I mean, I think we have stuff attached to us. We all know that. And it started pinging like crazy. So we got it to calm down. We started doing the show. We started hearing things in his house immediately, things that he never heard. It was like a growl we heard that was caught on the video. He isolated it. He also caught a female voice that we all heard. It's just like, holy shit, this is crazy, I'm experiencing stuff. And now I'm just looking around because you see stuff on the shows. It doesn't look like what you see on the shows. The way they film it, it looks totally different than what you're seeing in person. I'm like, oh yeah, this is where this was. That's where that was. I'm like, once again, kid in the candy store, starstruck kind of a thing. But did the investigation, whatnot, heard some things. So I got the chance to do my own for the Cryptic Heartland podcast, and it's still out there. You can watch it. From that night, I wanted to start about 8 o'clock. It ended up being about 10 o'clock, so our time was about midnight almost. So not many people from Kansas got to partake, but Dan was, like I said, hopped up on pills and laid out for surgery, so he got to watch the whole thing and interact with me. But from the get-go, I just started having experiences. I mean, I caught female voices, which I still think it's one of the murder victims. I think it's Sharon Tate I interacted with because I was asking for her up in the main level. I was by myself. There was no female there that night, just David and I. Up to a certain point.
And a cat.
Even still, it wasn't a female. So I can hear this person, she's talking to me, calling my name out, and it's just weird. Got to go down to the main basement level where I think it's funny. It's a theater down there. It's a movie theater. It's David's Theater. And it has all these autographed memorabilia from UCLA, which I love. I'm a UCLA fan. It's my second favorite team behind KU. So I'm just looking at everything, just enamored with everything. I got to go into the spare bedroom where I thought it was funny because this is a place where Nick Groff, I'm not bad-mouthing Nick, but he got trapped in there because Zach sent him down there, and he couldn't get out of the room. Like, he was terrified to come out of the room. And he was like, I'm not coming out here. And he threw one of the cameras down. He was so pissed, Nick was, during Ghost Adventures, that he's just freaking out. He goes, there's something here, I'm not, and he started getting agitated and just started, like, you better come get me right now or I'm going to freaking, and I'm going to break this fucking can. And he's just going to ape shit, basically. And you see these orbs flying in the room and whatnot on the actual Ghost Adventures episode. So he goes down there, whatever, and Zach comes down there and gets him out of there, whatever, and all this stuff. That's when, remember, he got scratched. I don't know if you ever seen the episode or not, but he got scratched and Nick did. So he was mad. That's why they sent him down there in the first place, because they wanted to use him as bait, kind of a thing. So anyway, I'm down in that same room, and I'm like just, once again, looking around, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and this is on live, Facebook Live, whatever, and I remember Dan being one of them to interact with me. Him and another guy from California was talking back and forth with me at this time, and all of a sudden I start feeling like I'm going to pass out, because I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I was dying, basically, which is weird, because I never felt this way on the case. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it was because his house has such a high amount of EMF in there, and it's been documented, that they didn't know if... I don't know if that was taking me over. I didn't understand. And Dan said, he said, go back to that mirror, because the mirror, I was kind of panning around as I was kind of going down, whatever, falling down. Dan said there's a black shadow behind me in that mirror, which I could never find, never saw it. But I saw shadows in the room the whole night. I kept hearing a female in there, and I started asking certain questions about certain people. I was like, okay, I don't know if anybody's really mentioned you guys, because they always fixate on Sharon Tate and the victims here. I'm like, and at the time Charles Manson had passed away and Susan Atkins had been passed away. Well, Susan Atkins was one of the girls that did the murders also too. So I said, are you guys here? And on the spirit box, I have it going. You can hear something come through, and it sounds like Charles Manson's voice. And I didn't want to say anything at first, because the first I heard it, I'm like, there's no way, this is him. And I said, guys, I think something's coming through. You guys form your own opinion. And then there's another voice, and it had a southern twang, and it sounded just like Charles Manson. I'm like, this is crazy. And to this day, David doesn't. I haven't never played it for David because he's real skeptical about
Right.
A, spirit boxes, and B, Charles Manson. He's like, no, he's not in my house. And I don't know if he was in his house because I asked him to come, or if he's always been lurking around, because we know for a fact that he walked the property. He used to go up there, Charles Manson being back in the days.
You'd have to think that his presence now, I mean, he's passed away and
Right.
everything. That was one of his most notorious moments of his life.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, he went there after the murder
right.
and everything like that, and saw the carnage, and actually was pissed about it, about how they did it.
Yeah,
Not that they did it, but they didn't do it the way he wanted him.
he didn't do it justice in his eyes. Yeah.
So he was there.
Oh yeah.
So he's walked that property. He's walked all that. You know, so the chances of him actually being still stuck to that and attached to it,
Why
I can
not?
see it.
Yeah.
I can totally see it.
The energy, at least, the energy of what
I mean,
happened.
we don't know exactly how everyone is when they pass. You know, they could be anywhere they want to be.
Yeah.
Right. I'll play that real quick here because let me see here.
Cool house. That's for sure.
That is pretty neat. Is
Um,
that a person standing in that top left window, though?
That's what I was
or top
thinking,
right?
yeah.
no, I was
It
noticing
is.
people too because that's all his property. Cause like
Shoot,
that
that's
middle-
probably him or something like that.
Because there's that middle, like the three windows that go real long.
Yeah.
That's like his stairwell. It goes. It's a spiral staircase that goes down.
Okay, I see the
each
spiral
level.
on it, yeah.
And there's rooms on each side of that. Like that top right one is his main kitchen, or his main, what do you call it, living room area. Where
Okay.
we doing that was weird.
Huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
Well, we're back.
Yeah, we lost connection for 2 seconds there. Go figure, we start talking about certain haunted things and shit happens. Let me find the Charles Manson stuff before he leaves you guys all together. Hang on. Because there's two of them, and I gotta remember which one's which. Okay. So this is the first, what I think is Charles Manson, that first caught my attention. And it's through the spirit box, so bear with us with the sound, so. Oh! It's David. Speaking of David Oman, he popped in right on. He's listening. Holy shit! That's
It was him. It was him the whole time.
Did you get summoned, David? Because I was like talking about stuff about your house. Holy crap! That's hilarious.
That is awesome.
That's fun. I told you he watches people. So
Very cool.
David's never heard this audio unless he watched that night. This is down in your spare bedroom, David, where I was just asking questions. I don't know if it's Charles Manson, dude. I know you say dead man tell no tales, and it cracks me up. But I don't know what we caught. It was live on Facebook, and one of your viewers pointed it out too. So, yes, here's this book right there. Pick it up. It's the
Right
house. Go ahead and say it. Ghost of Cielo Drive by David Oman. You gotta pick that book up. There's some stories in there that'll just blow your mind. That's the trailer house at the end of the drive.
Yeah.
But Ghost of Cielo Drive is his book you want to pick up. And when I was out there, he had very few limited copies left, so I happened to pick one up that
You want me
night.
to put it up to the camera?
Yeah, please do, because you can't really see it.
Here.
Grab the
Give it-
book.
Give it to me.
There you go, sir.
Alrighty. Tell me if I'm getting it.
Don't
too
trip on
close.
the cords.
Yeah, I'm not.
You need to get over a little bit more. You'll see it on camera. Keep going.
Alrighty. Am I
Keep
too
going.
close?
I don't know where you're at. I can't see it. Here, I'm going to take the house down real quick here, the picture of the house, that we can see it. Okay, go that you're to your left, Jason.
Alright.
Keep going. So, and down a little bit. I'm in the way. Let me get myself out of the way. So that is the ghost. It's kind of hard to see, but it says Ghost of this Yellow Drive. That's David's house. Sharon Tate's on the cover, and there's a couple other people on there that the ghost stories that are told in there by David, and it's a phenomenal copy. You should get it. I mean, like I said, I highly recommend. I read it from cover to cover, and it's amazing. So let me play down. Let me play down real quick here. I'm going to play this audio. I don't know. This is some stuff that happened in the basement. You can put it down, Jason, if you want
Alright.
to. This is some audio from that night, of my ghost hunt from that night.
That sounded like a familiar voice.
Okay, so there's that would you do, especially that. Yeah, it's still. I don't know why it's putting this picture up, guys. Sorry about that. It's doing a weird picture on the screen every time I do the audio. So that "What'd You Do" was what caught my ear first, but I was just like, nah, I don't know. It's the second one that I heard that one of his viewers from California pointed out, and Dan heard it too. So this is the other one that caught my attention. I think it is, hopefully.
Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person. Will you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear? Okay, viewers at home, are you hearing that voice? That sounds like Charles Manson. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it sounds like him. It's right here. Loud and clear.
No, it's that I did 12 that to me always sounded like Charles to me. I'm not saying it. When you hear me on the actual recording during the live episode, I'm saying I'm not saying it is. Or
And there's no way to find out.
Yeah, because he's not going to show up unless he shows up, a little 5 foot, no offense, Jason, little 5'2" guy.
Shut up.
And starts challenging me or something. But it just baffled me because I was just like, I don't know if this is him or not, but it was enough for me to point it out. And one of the viewers said, yeah, it sounds like it too. But the whole thing, that's who it is, Rudolph Valentino, I'm sorry, David, and Jack Johnson, which I need to pay tribute to that, man. His office area is nothing but covered in boxing memorabilia for Jack Johnson, the autographs to everything. Gloves. I'm just like I said, it's a museum of things in his office, his whole house. Like I love the UCLA room because, like I said earlier, I'm a big fan, and he has all these autographs and helmets, and I can't do it justice. I can probably find
I can't wait till
picture.
one day I can see it myself.
Yes.
Well, it's fun watching you when going down the hallway and showing all the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, he had door memorabilia on each thing that are signed.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, can I just stay here and just gawk at everything before I do the actual investigation? Because it's just phenomenal.
I envy David. I couldn't leave my house if I had that much memorabilia to look at. And
Right.
Every time I do a ghost tour or something like that, I talk about what you did, Leo, going to David's house, and,
Right.
Stuff like that. I don't know. It's just one of the most memorable moments to the team.
Yeah.
Even though you were the only one that went, but we all got to watch it from afar, and it was awesome.
We went a lot. It's like we were right there with you.
I mean, like I said, I was blessed to even be out there because it was my top bucket list. I can't go anywhere else in the world, paranormal wise, and it'll ever top that because this is where I always wanted to go. And like I said, I appreciate David even letting me. That's David on the screen.
Absolutely.
From one of the shows, I want to say probably. I'm not sure which one that's from, and David's awesome, man. He was a gracious host. I mean, we talked about other things outside the paranormal. Even though I wanted to ask him a million questions about everything paranormal because I was like, I've seen the shows that I was like a kid in a candy store like we always talk about. But his place is phenomenal. It gave me some of the best experiences I had. Which, like I said, I don't know if even David knows this, but I did that on Wednesday night. Oops, I'm not even on screen. Hang on. I did that on Wednesday night. And that next day, I was, of course, tired, because I had to work next day in California. But that night, I was supposed to go do things, and I was like, I don't feel well. And I thought maybe it's just I'm tired, ghost hunt, whatever, that paranormal hangover, whatever we always get. But then I fell asleep, and then I woke up a little later, like about 7 o'clock in the evening, California time, and then my neck started hurting real bad, and my throat, and I couldn't even swallow anything. And the more I got away from California, the worse it got. It lasted about 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm not saying I took on the persona of anything that happened, but we do know as part of the crime scene there was a noose that was put around J.C. Embring's neck and also Sharon Tate's that was strung across the top of the beam. I don't know if that happened to do anything. It's just coincidental, but I was just like, it didn't dawn upon me until after the fact. I was like, well, maybe that's what happened because, like I told you, in that same room down there, I started feeling like I think I make even a comment on Facebook Live that I feel like I'm being stabbed in the back, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I almost passed out. And I was like, I hope David finds me down here, not dead, but but I was able to snap out of it. But it was a phenomenal place. Like I said, I can't go anywhere, like I said, and top that. I mean, it's impacted my whole life because it was my bucket list, my top list. I had a few that were around that area. And
So does that mean you're done?
I could honestly quit today and I'd be satisfied because I've hit the
Wow.
top of the that's the
but-
top of it for me. I'm
but-
serious.
But you know, I'd drag your ass around.
Oh, I'll still go because I like the adventure. I love history. I love
Yeah.
what we do. I love helping people.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing. Is at the end of the day, is if people are willing enough to reach out to us and say, I have a case, I have something going on, I need help.
That's what I want to
That's
get
what we
back
wanna
to
do.
doing more.
Yeah.
That's, going back to me saying I was kind of burnt out on public events and stuff. It's just because I kind of miss the whole getting back to the roots of everything and helping people and going to their house and stuff. And I know we have a case coming up here soon that
Yeah,
in a couple weeks that I know at least Jake and I are going to go
yeah,
meet and check out and everything like that.
yeah.
We're gonna take a little road trip to the Wolf Hotel and
At the
check
same
that
time,
out
yeah.
too in the process.
Yeah,
and
and
knock down some details.
yeah, we went through y'all know we went through a pandemic, so it slowed us down a little bit, but not all the way. But people are still reaching out. We did a couple cases along the way that we could within reason, but we got some people that really need our help nowadays, and we'll do some more traveling here soon to help everybody. But yeah, I think the whole team is ready. So just can't wait to go out there. And
Yeah,
I think the whole team
I
is.
just hate flying.
No, I'm ready.
I'll go by train. I'll do that.
I don't know. Those trains on the side of over water and mountains just freak me out too. Just as much
Oh,
as
that's
flying.
alright.
Flying, get there quicker too.
Oh yeah,
You can do the whole trip in 3 hours. So versus
I know.
driving out
I can
there.
drug
so.
myself up for 3 hours and I'll be completely worthless when I get there. So
Yeah.
you just have to, take me to the hotel and just drop me
Right.
off.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been one of the cases that, like I said, that's impacted my life. That like you can hear how passionate I am about it and how much I love it. And we need to get David back on the show again. We can just see how everything's going. I'll try to get him.
Yeah, he's been up to all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah. Just not paranormal as much, but because
Right.
he's smart. He doesn't want people coming in from all over the place,
Yeah,
dragging in some kind of COVID.
he was doing his own
hmm
live
Yep.
stuff there for a while.
Yeah.
Definitely. We didn't get a chance to. One of the questions that Barbara asked us was like, let's do it real fast. We didn't have to go into great detail,
Okay.
but what's a place in Kansas that we haven't been to investigate that we would love to go investigate? Did you
Let's
have any?
see. In Kansas, honestly, because I've heard so much about it, the Wolf Hotel coming
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
I was shocked that they are so welcoming. And when I talked to him just yesterday, I spoke to him on the phone. Or is it Friday? Yeah, Friday. Friday. Today's Sunday. I have 3 days off and I get lost.
Must be
So Friday I called and yeah, I can't wait because of the fact it has underground tunnels to it. It has
Yeah.
such a great history to it. And how welcoming they were about the idea of us coming to do all the things that because I gave her a breakdown of our history and everything we can offer, and they seem very happy and excited
Mhm.
about it. But they're also very excited to see that piece of evidence that Jake caught. So I think from the Wolf Hotel to honestly, a place I would probably love and dream, but it's not really in Kansas, but it's in Kansas City.
Okay.
But
Does
it's on the Missouri, the train station,
Oh yeah.
Union Station?
That,
Union Station.
I got to do my own investigation.
I know you
there,
did, and
Which,
it sparked that thing in me wanting to do it.
yeah, I would love to do it more official because
Yeah,
mine was during the day. Yes, it was during a school day, so it was just me up there with my young kid and my wife, and
you,
we got to walk through, and I got to just investigate, and it was pretty quiet. So some of the stuff I caught was a little intriguing.
now
to
we've
me.
all been in that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
I mean,
Union
you
Station.
walk into the Union Station, it just is amazing.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Breathtaking.
Yeah.
And it just takes you to a whole nother, for me, it always takes me to a whole nother era of life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was fast forwarding my mind back to the 30s and 40s just because of everything. I mean,
Yeah.
you picture people in suits and hats and dresses, and just
Everybody in the
different
derbies. Yeah,
But-
walking in the
yeah,
derby
yeah.
hats.
But I do have a third one.
Oh, you only get one.
Damn
Go
it.
ahead. What's your third one? You said
Third-
Jesse James were punching you. I'm just kidding.
No, he went. Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's not here in Kansas. But here
I
in
know.
Kansas, no. Right here in town, the Broadview.
Yeah,
Something I've been in there so many times just doing tours.
we did our events there too. Or we got to do some guest
we
speaking
did some
there
guest
too.
speaking
but
there,
we never
too.
got to investigate.
Walking around in there and just telling stories and everything. It's just like
hmm
man, I
Yeah.
want to go in there so bad. It's just that the hotel itself will deny you every
Oh
time.
yeah. The new owners don't have anything with paranormal in there at
Yeah.
all. It doesn't exist. Take
They're-
down the plaque that had been there for clearance for years.
Yeah, they
Remove
took
that.
away.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the building. I bet.
Probably
If
in
not
somebody's office. But
that, or they threw it away.
Through in the river, out back.
Could have.
Andy, what about you?
I like racking my brain.
Jeez,
I
it's
mean,
not
there's
that hard.
right.
It's easy.
Well, no, there's so many places that I want to go
Mhm.
in Kansas and outside, but I have to agree with Jason on the Broadview because I've always heard the stories.
Right.
I've walked in on what like doing the ghost tours and stuff,
Yeah.
but I've never went and stayed there. I've
I have.
heard the stories, and I just think the stories kind of draw me in that I just
Mhm.
want to go and do.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed a couple nights there, and it was amazing.
It was recently too, wasn't it?
2019, actually.
No, that's been that long already.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude!
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
I thought that was like last year.
No,
Holy
2019.
crap! Damn. Dan the man, what do you got?
2.
Okay.
Fort Riley.
Okay.
Would love to hit the
Yeah.
old buildings. Yes.
I can see that.
So much history there. Been around since 1863, 60.
Right.
You know, original parts of it.
Oh yeah.
The grounds. And then the castle, I can't remember the name of it, right over here on the river. On,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Crum.
so-
Not Chrome.
the original Crumb Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Crumb Castle. Yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
for like over $1 million, you can buy it.
Well, that's true.
Is it
yeah.
still for sale?
Do we need
Yeah.
cooler
It
money?
keeps going back up for sale.
I can never tell. Have to
Yeah.
tell.
People keep trying to do a bed and breakfast there, and it keeps
Right.
failing.
That's too haunted.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the thing's 450 years old. I mean, the rocks are. You know,
Right,
they
right.
shipped it over here on a boat, but I mean, that thing's got some history. You know, even if you just go sit in the quarters out there, I mean that house was brought over as well, and it's all original
Right.
limestone from.
I've had people actually come to me and tell me stories. When I was like working at the hospital,
Mhm.
they were like, "Oh yeah, my sister-in-law, her and her husband stayed there, and she was like held down by something and like attacked and
Wow.
beat up and scratched and stuff, and there was nobody in the room with her. She couldn't even see anything that was on her,
Yeah,
but it was, so stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I've never even heard that before. So
Right.
They got mirrors in there from Victorian era, 1800s, early 1800s, 1790 mirrors.
Oh, I bet.
That so I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the 2 places for me.
Cool.
Well, okay, the Dalton Gang hideout. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the 3rd one.
yeah,
The hideout itself. We're talking about where they were killed.
the hideout.
The
I
hideout.
got to do the hideout
Did you?
by myself. Yeah, it was during a weekday, whatever. I was out visiting my family in Dodge.
That was a
And-
while back too.
Yeah, I got to go down there and I talked to the guy that was behind the counter, and he had let me know that. I talked about, we're a paranormal team out of Wichita. When we were just featured in the Dodge City Globe at the time for the depot. As a matter of fact, I was like, hey, we're legitimate people. Here's my business card. And we talked about it. He's like, I'll let you know. He's like, the problem is we had a team in here from Wichita already, and I didn't know who they are. Me personally, I knew who they were, and they spent some time out here just kind of disrespectful and they said nothing's paranormal. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't speak on behalf of all Wichita teams, but I mean, just saying we would do it justice. If you ever need something, here's my card. Just to let you know, I'm here for you. So I gave him references. Like I said, Carl, speaking of Carl down, I said you can call him. You can call Dodge City. We're somewhat highly recommended down there from Dodge City. We were just, like I said, in the paper about it. So
Yeah.
let us know. But haven't heard from him. I'm going to try to go back out at some point. But yeah, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's the tunnel is cool. Just goes
Yeah.
from the farmhouse to what would be the barn, basically. But it's pretty cool. For me, a couple of different places also in Kansas. We got to do Leavenworth. It's been a couple years now at this point.
Yeah.
Probably 2018, maybe at this point. I don't even remember. But
it was toward the end of 2018.
we got to go out there and we did a couple different locations, and they told us about some other spots to go check out, including some tunnels that have to do with the old, oh good lord, I forgot what I was going to say now, the underground tunnel, or the train
Oh,
system,
really?
the slaves and all that stuff that's
Yeah.
close to the river and stuff like that. So you guys go check those out. There's also a school out there they told us to go check out, which I've heard a bunch of things about that place too, and people know we do this. They say, you gotta go out to Leavenworth. I was like, we've heard the stories. I want to go, trust me. we had to go to a cool place out there. Dan missed that one. I remember you watched once again live. We live broadcast. Andy didn't get to go with us because she wasn't part of the team quite yet.
Yeah, it was an October thing that I couldn't make.
Yeah, we had to go down to these. It used to be speaking of old banks. We had to go to the Great Escape Room there, and we had to go in the tunnels down there, and it was pretty cool. There's some old shops down there,
which I have yet to get them to respond back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the other place I'm talking about, I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's a bit grown, but it's Atchison, the city of itself, because they embrace paranormal so highly. I would like to do the Sally House. I know everybody's like, oh, it's not paranormal. It is paranormal. It's changed. I want to do my own opinions. I don't need anybody else's opinion.
Right.
I want to investigate for us.
The actual city itself is phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah. From the cemetery to the train areas, the train station.
Right.
Which is now the City of Commerce building and everything. I've done the trolley tour there like a couple times and did the tours and investigated.
Yeah.
Out there too. It's awesome.
So much energy
say
there.
that, it just seems like there's so many places with rich history, like Atchison, that's right along the river,
Right.
Nashville, like all these places that I visited, and all the ghost stories and stuff I hear. That right along that river, it just all that rich history is just amazing.
Yeah, and I have a good friend who, from actually in Derby here, that we coached together and stuff like that, and I've got to know him over the years. He's from Atchison. He's told me, you got to check this place out and this place out. Outside of the obvious ones like the Sally House, I want to go definitely talk to our friends out at the 1889 McIntyre Villa. That I would like to go out there and investigate. We were going to do that last year, and then COVID hit, so we get a chance to go out there to visit that, and they're always welcoming people all the time. But there's also a place outside of town. One of our friends told us about this cemetery with the witch that's supposedly buried there. So I want to check that out too while we're out there, if possible, and see if we can find it, because it's not even on maps. It's hard to find, and he has to remember where it's at, and he told us about it. And I'd like to check that out too. So because that's something that's always, it kind of frightens me a little bit, like the Native American things we did with Tahlequah, but it's also intriguing at the same token. I want to see if we can't figure out what's going on out there.
Right.
And I would go check out Stoll, Kansas, with the famous
I thought about
cemetery,
that.
just because it's nostalgic, whatever. I wish the church was still there, but unfortunately, vandals have torn it down, burned it down over the years. It is what it is. I mean, I would like to see. I've never seen it. I know. Were you part of the group? Or you weren't part of the group. You weren't part of the team yet. There's a group of guys went out after the Lawrence.
I was at the investigation. I didn't go with
them,
the
but it
guys
was
there.
a couple of guys on the team. They used to be on the team. Whatever, went out there and stopped by on the way back. And I think Roth was one of them.
Yeah.
I believe. I was tired. I wanted to get home.
Me
I'm
too.
done.
Me too.
So, and it was out of our way a little bit, but they went and checked it out, and
They took pictures, I believe.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So places like that. I mean, and there's so many places I don't even know about in Kansas. I would love to go and investigate. We talked about the Brown Mansion down in Coffeyville,
Yeah.
or near Coffeyville,
Yeah.
the Beaumont, places like that. I never got a chance to go. So
And there's a place over between here and Dodge that have the most ley line connections than any other location in the U.S. that I want to go check out.
nice.
I mean, more than Tahlequah. I want to go see what's there.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Definitely after hearing all the stories.
And I mean, speaking of like David Oman and stuff I talked about earlier, like places I got to investigate. Dodge City, I grew up in for 20-some years before I moved out and kind of started adulting. I had to investigate places along the way, like the Santa Fe Depot, the Carnegie Arts Center, to even Boot Hill, which we were the only one of the teams that ever go in there. The only team to go in there and investigate. And those are places I grew up and seen all the time, and got to be in there every now and then. The fact we get to investigate these places, and they're haunted. I mean, that's awesome. So that's been impactful in my life also too, just from earlier. But we'll go back to Dodge again, and we'll start doing public events again with Carl and the Depot hopefully again. And the viewers, you got to come make a trip down there, because Dodge City's, I mean, you all know about Dodge City. It's White Earp, which is one of my favorite Western outlaws, whatever, cowboy, whatever you want to call them.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, he did it
Both.
all,
Yeah.
And supposedly, they see Ed Masterson walking around downtown, which I've never knew that until after the fact. I moved out of town, and we go back, and that's the first thing that always pops in my mind.
I know.
Is he still here? Can I see him?
Late at night, as we're going back to the hotels or whatnot, I'm
Yeah.
always like looking down the streets, like
Yep.
I want to see the cowboy walking.
That'd be cool. The old sheriff, yep. And plus, we got to do Dodge Theater. We haven't been back to Dodge Theater in years, so I'd love to make a return
Yeah.
there.
I need to figure out how to reach out to him.
That
and
guy's
everything
even
like
still
that.
the owner. I don't even know anymore.
As far as I know, he is.
So, but no, that's just some of the places, viewers at home, that you guys asked. This is what we got to investigate along the way. It's been fun for us, and this is still more chapters to the books. He said Carl's been in 1 year and 7 months. Holy crap!
It's been that long since it's been there?
Has it been that long? I know
Yeah.
Jason's gone back once or twice, haven't you?
Well, just
privately.
just one time
I
that I,
can remember
actually
it twice.
stopped and Carl
Yeah.
let Corey and I in. So, but it's been over a year. Yeah, since
Yeah,
we've
that's
actually
crazy.
done anything there.
We'll be back
So-
hopefully this year. Hopefully, that's everything works out. We'll make something. I haven't seen Carl since I don't remember the last time I've seen Carl.
Seen him 3 weeks ago.
You did?
Yeah, we had breakfast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch with him again. Retirement.
No, sir.
Oh,
He's retiring in a year and 7 months is what he's claiming.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
What
holy
happened?
shit!
Can't
It's
leave
been that
us.
long since we've seen you or done something with you. Okay, he's retiring from there. Sure you are, Carl. Sure you are. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. Nah, we'll get in touch with you guys, but yeah. And the gang once again next weekend is going out to Holton, Kansas to do the Hotel Josephine. The event is sold out.
Yes.
To go towards the Kansas and Road Trip Paranormal. But hopefully they can come back with some stories, some evidence and stuff from what they've caught that night and see what transpires.
I will not
So-
be back next weekend.
That's right.
These two shall be here. So.
Mr. Dan's making his own little trip. He's going on vacation, so
Next
Yeah.
Sunday, I'll be at the Crescent,
good old Crescent down
Eureka
in Eureka Springs,
yeah.
Arkansas. Yep. That's just
Jake will
one
be
place.
there as well.
Yeah, Jake Brake from our team here will be down there also too. Coincidentally, you guys booked it at the same time, and
Yeah.
hey, you guys are meeting up down there, so very cool. So, but no, thank you guys, all you guys viewers, for tuning in this evening, for watching our show. We love doing this for you guys. I mean, plus we like telling ghost stories and conspiracy and everything else, man. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we love present our evidence to you when we can, and sometimes we just do it on a whim like we did tonight. So it worked out great. And we have a whole catalog, and some of the stuff these guys haven't heard yet. I have a lot of it, if not all of it, most
Yeah.
of it. So, but we'll get into those shows again. Those are always the fun shows because we can tell our side of the story, things that we personally experienced, and the viewers have never ever heard.
You bet.
So, but all right.
You ready?
Yep, thank you all for joining us this evening for Cryptic Heartland. This has been episode number 136. Didn't know what to call it, so I called it Things and More. It turned out to be a great show of our favorite things we've done over the years. But for Cryptic Heartland, I'm one of the hosts. I'm Leo. We got Jason. We got Andy, who doesn't have a lump in her head anymore. I fixed it.
Good, good.
And we got Dan
Call
the
me
Man.
Lumpy.
Good night, everybody.
So thank you guys for tuning
See ya.
in.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys
Thank
next
you
week.
all.